Dodgers and the Blue Jays, Game 5 from L.A. Here he comes, off and going Game 5 with a fastball that's hit in the air to deep left field. Call to the track. It's a home run on the first pitch of Game 5. Vlad Jr. hooks a ball down the left field line. They've gone back-to-back to start Game 5.
Live from New York. This show it's also going back-to-back. Back-to-back good shows.
Oh, back-to-back-to-back. So. Yeah. You're talking about for us or for you? Like for the collective or you personally?
You, okay. Me personally.
You personally,
let's see if you can get
you're on a one-show
have
streak.
been excellent. Minus your David Duvall talk.
Oh, it was my God.
You crushed.
Everybody got the reference.
Nobody got it. First hour of First Things First. Today, Blue Jays win, headed home. Are they about to send the Dodgers packing? Meanwhile, Josh versus Patrick, round 10. How will Josh's playoff shortcomings affect this game? What do you got an issue with that?
The round 10, I feel like it's round 6 of the regular season. I feel like the regular season and postseason are separate, live in separate universes.
They don't.
So when they play in the playoffs, if they play in the playoffs this year, it's going to be called round 11? No, it's going to be called round 5.
Nah.
Yeah, Drew knows.
Finally, most motivational segment in all of sports. It's the Bud List.
Wow.
The Ravens need all the motivation you can muster.
Wow.
For the Dolphins?
Brew. They don't have any.
We're wiping them out.
Brew, I'd be careful.
We are wiping them out. Mark my words.
Okay. All right. Alongside Chris Broussard.
The Dolphins?
The Dolphins.
They beat a better team with Tyler Huntley playing quarterback last week.
Okay. The Dolphins, though, looked really good last week.
They're frisky.
They did.
Okay.
That's more of that's coming up. We start with a savage performance from Trey Savage. 12 strikeouts, no walks. Ices the Dodgers, gets some help with 2 home runs in the first to send the series back to Toronto. Here's our post-game crew.
You went from A-ball to the big league. I want you to explain people how hard it is to escalate from A-ball to the big league and perform at that level.
Well, I think the difference is like an Atlantic Ocean. It's not a lake. It's not. It's just a different level, and I sucked at it, Poppy. So that's why I can speak about it. I got demoted 5 times in 1 year. The adjustment is just so big. And, Poppy, I don't think we're doing a good enough articulating how hard it is. But trust me when I tell you, to be at this level in the World Series is nothing less but a miraculous performance.
Savage has played in all levels, A, AA, AAA. He's had more postseason starts than regular season starts, and he's crushing. What is the number one reason the Dodgers are down 3-2?
The Blue Jays are better than them?
It's a hot take.
I know it seems like a scorching hot take.
That. You're right.
And the Dodgers do have a figurative, if not almost literal, all-star team. I get that. But it's not a small sample size sport. They play 162 games. And I understand the Dodgers had an incredible run differential. I think almost double the run differential of the Blue Jays. But the reason the Blue Jays have home field is because the Blue Jays had a better record in the regular season. The Dodgers, what their starting pitching was doing leading into the World Series felt to me unsustainable because it was being compared to the greatest postseason performances from some of the greatest staffs of all time. When you're bringing up your favorite guy, Christy Mathewson. And you know the 01 Diamondbacks Snakes. With they were the Diamondbacks then. They're the Snakes now. With Randy Johnson and Curt Schilling, and so that was to me bound to come back down to earth. The Blue Jays have been incredibly consistent offensively, save for the first 2 games of the ALCS this entire postseason, and they just don't seem rattleable. I know that's not a word, but I mean the fact that I really did look at what the story about Vladdy after losing the 18-inning game, when he's like, guys, they got to win 4. Turn the music on. We're fine, as really impressive and noteworthy. And I just think they have, through 5 games, they've been better because they have soundly won 3 of them. They've soundly lost 1, and there was one game that was the definition of a coin flip game.
Yeah, look, I'm not ready to write off the Dodgers. Hopefully they can work a miracle and win these 2 games in Toronto. That was my pick. But along the lines, the hitting and watching, and I guess you could go the opposite way and say the pitching, but I'm saying the hitting of the Blue Jays. Watching them in the ALCS against Seattle, I was just like, man, these dudes hit the ball. Yeah. They can hit.
And against the Yankees, too.
Yes.
In the ALDS.
And they led. Look, this is along, like what you were saying, they had the best batting average in the league during the regular season, best on-base percentage. Obviously, that's not only hitting, but still. In the playoffs, they've had the best batting average by a mile. They've hit 284 in the playoffs, which is almost 20 points better than they hit in the regular season. It is rare to see a team, they say you're clutch when you kind of play as great as you do in the regular season in the playoffs.
Right, not if you
don't have
raise
to go
it, if
another
you just
level.
stay.
You just stay because you're obviously facing better competition. They have gone up almost 20 points batting average in the playoffs. And then obviously in this series, they have the better batting average. They average 4.9 runs a game in the regular season. It's 6.2 in these playoffs. They've got 5 guys in this series hitting 300 or better. The Dodgers have 2. And so they're hitting of the ball. And again, I know you could just say pitching, but I just think as a team, they are an excellent hitting team. It's not just homers, but it's getting on base, it's manufacturing runs. So that is the difference right now. And obviously the Dodgers have gone in the tank as far as hitting the baseball the last few games.
Savage had just another spectacular game. He'd probably get my vote for World Series MVP now. You get 2 wins and like 2 big wins. Had 12 strikeouts.
By the way,
I like Vladdy, but he's been
just
great.
So you know the odds. If you were to bet that and he were to win it, it's like 40-1.
Was Vladdy?
Vladdy is minus 200.
Yeah.
Shohei's plus 230. And Yamamoto is 16-1, with the idea being if Yamamoto throws another complete game tomorrow.
Okay.
But
who would you go with right now?
Right now it's Vladdy.
Savage. Yeah, I think it's Vladdy.
Right, to me, but I mean, I'm not.
Yeah, I would take the 2.
I get it.
No, he's been great.
I take the 2 wins.
He has 50-1.
He struck out every member of the Dodgers, 12
which
in
is
all.
Crazy.
It's great. And then he struck out Ohtani. His helmet fell off, so we'll talk about Ohtani here. He goes hitless in back-to-back nights. Take a look at this full screen, bro. So he's been red hot and a little bit cold. In the NLCS Game 4 and then the Marathon Game, 7 for 7. That's 1,000. 5 home runs. In the 13 other games, 8 for 53, batting 151. 3 home runs. So do you think this postseason has helped or hurt Ohtani's legacy so far?
I don't even think it's even arguable. I get that he's struggled in some games. The best game ever in the ALCS closeout, a 9 on base in the World Series, like 2 homers, 2 doubles. I think the question is, does it hurt his boat case, which I've been pushing. I don't think it's arguable that it's hurt his legacy. Like, do you?
No, I was going to say the exact same thing. I think this is, when you have 2 of the greatest games ever, you can't say you went backwards legacy-wise. But in the effort to become the greatest player of all time, that standard's different. So go ahead.
And you throw in that he pitched, and even when he lost the other night, he wasn't bad. I mean, that'll get lost over time. Yeah. Obviously, people won't look at the details, but he wasn't bad. But in the boat, to me, the best player I've ever seen other than Ohtani or before Ohtani was Barry Bonds. And we know Barry Bonds was not phenomenal in the playoffs. So my point is that I don't think, you have to have some moments in the playoffs, and obviously Ohtani has already had them. Bonds was great in the World Series, the one World Series he was in, but they lost. But he hit like 471. Yeah. I mean,
that postseason, he has the highest OPS of any postseason
1.9, I think, was his OPS.
1.6. We were talking about it yesterday. 1.65. He had 75 plate appearances. He had 27 walks. It was absurd
in that postseason. In that postseason. That World Series, it was 1.9. It was ridiculous. But outside of that, Bonds hit the rest of his playoffs. I think he hit 216 in all of his other playoff games combined. So A-Rod, Alex Rodriguez, great in 2009 and leading the Yankees to the World Series. Before that or after, outside of that, he had been viewed as he's got to get it done in the playoffs. So, and I even think Aaron Judge this year kind of erased that notion that he's not big in the playoffs. He was phenomenal. So I just think the nature of baseball, it's a sport of failure. We know if you get a hit 30% of the time, you're a Hall of Famer. So look at Mookie Betts. Nobody's ever going to say he's not been great in the postseason or a clutch player, but he's having a horrible postseason at the plate this year. Babe Ruth that's, if some people want to say he's the GOAT.
Well, I think a lot of people say
my argument with him is he didn't play all the best players at his time. Sure. That's a racial segregation at that time and all that. But his numbers are just, phenomenal in the World Series. But it was different. They only played in the World Series in the playoffs. There were no other playoff games. So I don't think, I think, Nick, and I'll leave it here, when we talk about guys not getting it done in the playoffs, I think we all can understand great players having bad games. I think what is the indictment on players, and this is somewhat subjective, but is when the feeling is that a guy melted down or choked. Like the moment was too big. And the fact that Ohtani's had two of the best games ever, obviously the moment is not too big. You can just say he's struggling or he's in a slump these last few games. But I think he's moved past that.
So I'm just going to be totally honest. I kind of hate this image, has it helped or hurt his legacy? Because the snapshot of it feels cliche and kind of silly, but I actually love the conversation because I think it is a really, really interesting one-of-one kind of data set, which is we do have arguably the two greatest postseason performances of my or maybe anyone's lifetime by the same player within a week's time.
Yeah.
The 3 for 3 with 3 bombs while striking out 10. Nothing has ever approached it to clinch the World Series. And then game 3 where you just go double home run, and then the other team waves uncle, and they walk you 5 times and your team ends up taking a 2-1 lead in the World Series. Either of those performances are something akin to the baseball equivalent of a 100-point game by Wilt, except it was in the NLCS and the World Series. But everything else this postseason and most of last postseason has been really underwhelming.
Well, I give him a pass.
Okay, I did too, because last postseason he was dealing with the hurt shoulder, remember? So that's fine. But this postseason as a whole. And so I think it's very clear it's not the moment's too big for him, because in some of the biggest moments he's had maybe the greatest games ever played. But I do think that if you are trying to become the greatest in the history of a sport, that if they don't win this World Series, it is going to be in part because Mookie and Shohei were not that good. And I know Shohei was unbelievable in Game 3. I mean, he was throughout the series, that Shohei he pitched fine, but not great when he pitched. That at this point, 4 of the 5 games, he has not made a real impact with his bat. And Mookie, which is not who we're talking about here, has not been great either. Like you were saying, it doesn't hurt. It doesn't put a real ding in their overall legacy. I agree. But it certainly doesn't, to me, elevate. If we are going to have a real Shohei Ohtani or Babe Ruth, Shohei Ohtani or Barry Bonds, Shohei Ohtani or, I don't know, whomever, Ted Williams or Hank Aaron, whomever, Willie Mays, people argue is the greatest player ever. I don't think that this got him closer if they lose. If they lose and he's not, you know what I mean? Even he's not good in game 6 or 7. Does that, I don't know where you land on this, KW. I'm not trying to be unfair, and this is not like a hot take thing. I think it's really interesting in how we are trying to weigh transcendent performances versus day-to-day impact.
Well, when you're doing GOAT, and this comes up with Jordan, LeBron, like you're nitpicking. So this might feel like you're like it's little things because they're all phenomenal. So it's just little differences that separate. That's why I brought up Bonds. I don't know. I'd have to look at Willie Mays. Yep. Babe Ruth's postseason numbers are ridiculous. Like, so that would be a check mark in his box. But I don't know. I mean, Bonds, it wouldn't work. This wouldn't work against.
And again,
against
Bonds. It's not apples to apples, but I'm trying to think of other sport hypotheticals. Like if in 9 years, Wemby really is in the GOAT discussion, he could get there. And
9 months.
And there's 9 months. But there's an NBA Finals where in Game 3 of the Finals, he has 55, 25, 15 blocks, 8 steals, 7 assists. And in the other 6 games, he plays well below his season averages and they lose. I don't think people would say that helped him become the GOAT.
Right.
Now, basketball is different because one player. But do you follow what I'm saying? It just feels a little
the nature
weird.
Of the sport is different.
Of course.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like the amazing performances will stay and the other stuff will burn off.
Do you think it'll stay if they don't win?
It'll only be, they'll stay. Because again, baseball, when you talk about GOAT in baseball, World Series aren't, Barry Bonds doesn't have a World Series.
No, and neither does Ted Williams.
Right. So, it's just
think of
a different
all-time
sport.
great moments for losing teams are it's a strange
I do
category.
think, Brew, that for a lot of people, Barry Bonds' World Series is not top of mind because they lost. Even though, to your point, it was one of the greatest individual runs ever.
Carlton Fisk. No one's saying Carlton Fisk is the best ever. But
I think of that. Yeah.
When I was growing up,
Absolutely.
when I was little and I saw that, I was like, oh, we won that one. It's like a famous home run. No, we actually lost the series. Why is it it's one of the few all-time baseball moments when the team I think it's more. I don't even know what the Reds moment is. It's just the Carlton Fisk home run. It's time now for your daily update. Don't go yet. You did.
What? What was the update?
Teams in the Blue Jays position win 67% of the time headed home.
KW, we know.
No, I'm sorry, I was wrong. 74%.
We know that.
Well, I got thrown off.
It was 70% after Game 3.
74% of the time headed home. Head down to Miami.
Their practice facility is interesting. It looks like they're just out in the middle of the woods. And you see the Chiefs or any teams mostly. It's like you see the lines and
there's just no
goalposts. They're just out there.
My flag practice in a local park. We don't have the permits for it. They're playing the Dolphins, who looked bad pretty much all year, except last week. Let's take a look at how Tua did last week. Came alive.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, guess who else played well? The defense. Guess who else played well? The running game. Brew, are you worried at all about tonight's game?
I expect the Ravens to romp, okay? Now, I will say this. If this were a typical Ravens year, where they're 2-5, say they're 5-2 or 6-1,
you would think they could split the bit here.
Well, no. Oh. I would have I'm 99.8% sure right now.
Okay.
Because in a typical Ravens year, I would be like, no way, they're wiping the Dolphins out, right? But because Lamar is coming back, rusty, I expect him to play well, but I guess that's a possibility that he doesn't. And then the defense is two good games, but they've been bad for 5. So I'm just being honest.
Are the Dolphins hot? Did the Dolphins play their best?
To me, the Dolphins have nothing to do with this. Okay. This is all about what the Ravens do. It really is. Tyreek Hill isn't out walking through that door. This is all about if the Ravens show up, they're going to rout the Dolphins. If they don't, it'll be a close game. I can't see them losing. But my point is just this. A year ago, there's absolutely not even a smidgen of question in me. Now there is a little smidgen just because we've seen the Ravens be so vulnerable. But I expect a blowout.
You want to go KW?
No, because Brew said there's, just a smidgen. I am saying they should be very worried. and we have the same rationale.
Let's hear.
One, are we getting Lamar at 100%?
No.
I don't think anyone's going to say yes. He wasn't ready to go on Sunday. Now it's Thursday. So maybe he went from can't play to 100%. I think he went from can't play to can play, but not 100%. 3, is the defense fixed? They've been okay 2 games. The Dolphins have been okay 1 game. So I don't think it's a huge leap to say the Dolphins were okay 1 game. Maybe
Culture, KW.
What's Mike McDaniel's culture?
It ain't defense.
It's offense. It's throwing the ball around with Tua. And they've been successful without Tyreek Hill. The whole offense is not super, all on Tyreek Hill.
They got speed.
They scored 34, and the running game got going. The other thing I would be worried about, how do you disrupt the Dolphins' offense? Get to Tua, sack Tua. Tua needs to get the ball. Which team has the second fewest sacks in the NFL?
Ravens. Yeah, so
I'd be worried.
Okay. So I don't know. I'm not going to go as far as worried, but I'm certainly would not be as confident as Brew is.
99.8.
99.8. Not quite 99.9, but a nice healthy 99.8 is where Brew is. So first I want to talk about the Lamar piece of it. Because I do think it's possible Lamar's 100%. I do think it's...
Are you fully convinced? This is kind
Go
of a
ahead.
joke, tongue in cheek. Are you fully convinced he's playing?
I am fully convinced he's playing because he has put voice to it. Right. But most players, if they weren't ready Sunday, I would be like, they are going to be, nowhere close to 100% on Thursday. Lamar's an interesting one because I believe the Ravens team and Ravens team doctors thought he was healthy enough to play Sunday and didn't. So he might have been 85% Sunday, which would mean he could be close to 100% today. So it's not so much about how healthy is he at this point, because I don't think Lamar plays if he's not healthy. I think there's a long history of that. It is how rusty is he going to be. And I know he said that's what practice is for when he was asked about that, but last week he did not fully practice, and today's Thursday. So you don't have real the full practice schedule between Sunday to Thursday when you play Thursday night games. So I don't think Lamar is going to be as sharp as usual, which you would then typically be like, well, he can still be deadly with his legs, but coming off a hamstring injury, I think he would be less likely to lean into his legs. So I think that is a legitimate concern. I also, as someone that bet Atlanta -7.5 against Miami and then watched Miami trounce them, was really impressed by the Dolphins last week because I thought they were going to have quit.
The Falcons have a decent defense.
Correct. That's what I was going to get to. So much of that game narratively was Kirk Cousins is done. Mm-hmm. But they still had Bijan, and the Falcons' pass defense had been really good, and Tua had 6 incompletions and 4 touchdowns for a team that I honestly thought was just 1, 2, 3 Cancun already. Our coach is getting fired, we're out of here. So those 2 factors, Lamar's health and the Dolphins all of a sudden showing a pulse, if I were you, Brew, would give me a little bit of pause. Your 99.8, I would say, should be closer to 85 to 90%.
Wow.
Yeah.
85? That's not much.
I mean, Brew, it's a 1-6 favorite. I mean, that's a lot. But what I will say, you are setting yourself up that if the Ravens just squeak by with a win, you're not going to be able to be all
we're stacking
bravado
W's
tomorrow.
At this point. I agree. There will be no robe. I don't expect the robe anyway. Because if they blow them out, I'm going to come in here and
Yes,
go?
you should.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes. Brew,
The Dolphins? What's the Dolphins' record?
Same as the Ravens.
Okay, but they didn't lose to the Chiefs, the Lions, and the Bills.
I don't know.
Heck, I think it's on the board that if the Ravens had a normal schedule to start the season, where they weren't playing the juggernauts, they might have a winning record at this point, even without Lamar.
You're big on, what are they called? Memojis?
Yeah.
When it's your own character?
The guy in Brews, the one that you sent me where you're all nervous.
Get those ready, though. Get those ready for the group chat.
Please.
Get those ready. Opponents have scored on 53 50% of their possessions against the Ravens. So
Y'all just will not believe in the defense.
No.
The last 2 games, they have looked good. Plus, they got the culture.
does Josh Allen need a statement game against Patrick Mahomes? That's next on FS1 and the Fox Sports Channel on SiriusXM. Tomorrow, Game 6 of the World Series is on Fox. Vladdy and the Blue Jays look to close out the series in Toronto. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, only on Fox. Welcome back to the show. Coach Mangini is here. We're talking about tarantulas.
We are.
The Chiefs down to just 1.5-point favorites. The line moved on this.
Yeah, but it's open. It was 1.5, 2.5, back to 1.5. So it's back to where it opened.
It's an odd storyline in this game. We're kicking around since Josh dominates the regular season, but he's never beaten Patrick in the playoffs. Now here's Patrick on playing Josh yet again.
All the games come down to like one. I think other than like 2 games that we've played against each other, every single game comes down to like one play here or there that someone has to make, if that's offense, defense, whatever it is. And so I think it just comes down to the players making plays in big moments.
Do you think Josh needs a statement game Sunday afternoon?
Well, yes, particularly if he wants to, not just because of production, but based on not just because of projection, but based on production, be a legitimate MVP candidate. Because right now he's got the second best MVP odds, despite not having an MVP caliber season. And this is a guy who I thought last year he was the league MVP. Yeah. I have been very pro Josh Allen on this show the last couple of years.
But it wasn't necessarily numbers driven.
Well,
I agree.
Right. Last year, the Josh MVP case last year was complicated because the Lamar MVP case the year before was complicated. But regardless, my point is I'm not someone that's always like, he's not the MVP. Yeah. I thought he was last year. This year, though, he was awesome in week 1. He then didn't need to be awesome in week 2. And then in week 3 against the Dolphins on national television, played a game at such a high level, some people thought he was playing the position at the highest level anyone's ever played in the history of the sport. And since then, he hasn't been good. He's played 4 games, lost 2 of them, 1 of them directly because of some of his mistakes. And last week, I'm not going to bang him for it because they won 40-9, but James, that was the James Cook game. And if you put up Josh's numbers with season ranks, what you see is he's having a fine season. The rushing touchdowns are helping him a lot, and I put those at the bottom. But from a passing perspective, he's been fine, and he's not doing an unbelievable job the way Coach liked last year on taking care of the football. He's been fine at that, and so I think he needs a statement game personally if he cares about having a real shot at being MVP. And I think for the Bills, team-wise, their only path to winning is scoring 30 points because I don't think that defense is going to hold the Chiefs under. I think they'd sign up for 27 for Kansas City right now. Oh, wow. I think if it's like, hey, we guarantee you they're going to score 27 but not a point more, they'd sign up for it. So for both those reasons, I say yes.
When I went back and looked at Josh Allen, so my biggest thing, or the thing I think pushed him over the edge of the MVP, was the fact that he can control the turnovers. And then this year we know in the last 4 games alone, it's been 10 touchdowns, 5 turnovers, dramatically different than what we saw the year before. So just going back and looking at his interceptions from this season, really there's 2 interceptions where he's going to the right place with the ball, he's under a little bit of pressure, he just gets it off late, and the guy makes a great play. So it's hard to ding him because he wasn't trying to be a superhero in those situations. And 2 of the other interceptions, one was late in the half where they were trying to get in the field goal range and he had to press it. One was late in the game where it got batted down. So when you go back and look at kind of his body of work through the season, he's not back on the roller coaster, which I think is really good. And I don't think this has to be a statement game because that's where he could get in trouble. If he goes out and tries to chase points, tries to chase opportunities, he's made a few throws that could have been better, but they weren't horrible with the picks. So just go and do what you've been doing and don't try to turn this into something that could implode, especially against a really opportunistic Kansas City defense.
Well, I think he has to have a statement game for them to win. And his statement games look different. His statement game might be 2 running touchdowns, 2 passing touchdowns, and 240 yards passing or something. Like, he doesn't throw for the ton of yards anymore. He's got 1 300-yard passing game this year, 4 in the last 2 years, and we know when they got back to elite status, it was because they took the ball out of his hands. Last week was kind of typical, particularly against not teams that aren't great. A lot of run. Josh just manages things, makes a couple big plays. But you alluded to it earlier. The thing, because he's beaten Patrick so much in the regular season and then lost to him every time in the postseason, it does put just a tad. I'm still obviously excited about the game, but a little bit of a damper, because even if the Bills win, it'll still feel like, okay, this is what they do, but in the playoffs, you got to like the Chiefs. I think the only type of game that would make me sit up and take note would be if they blew the Chiefs out. Now, they did that in 2021, right? 38-20, they beat them in the regular season. Then that's when they lost in the 13-second game. But that was obviously the closest they were to the Chiefs. And I don't expect a blowout, but that would be the only type of game, Coach. I don't care how Allen plays. If they don't blow him out, I'm going to be like, okay, good win, but it's not going to really change my thoughts on the
They haven't beaten anybody with a winning record. I mean, the best win they've had is a team that's 500.
Right, so if they win
Kansas City, at this point, to me, that's where the significance is this is actually a legitimately good team that they could have not a signature win where they have to blow them out, but it's different than the other wins they've gotten so far.
So I think these are almost two separate things. I do think when evaluating how good is Buffalo, beating Kansas City in this spot would be that signature win and be like, okay,
I agree with that.
They're legit.
I agree with that.
They're legit.
Yeah.
I think Bruce saying even if that happened, if these two teams met in the playoffs, you wouldn't likely be like, well, Buffalo beat them in the regular season, so therefore.
Right, but at least you can walk away from the game saying these guys are probably going to the playoffs. And I don't know, right?
The Bills?
Well, it's just.
I mean, you think if they lose, I'm not thinking, oh man, they might not make the playoffs.
Well, it looks like they're going to struggle winning the division. They lose another game the way New England's been playing. It's not a slam dunk by any stretch.
I do think the loser of this game is, and that's what makes this game, because I agree with you, Brew, there is an element of anticlimactic nature of these regular season matchups because it has been part 1, 2, 3, and 4 of this movie have been the exact same beats of it. It would be, it's you lose in the regular season and you win in the playoffs for the Chiefs. What is different about this one is the loser of this game is going to be in a real uphill battle to win their own division.
Right.
If the Chiefs, I'll play it from the other side. If the Chiefs lose this game, they're 4-4. And, we'll see what Denver does this weekend and what the Chargers do this weekend. If the Patriots have the Falcons, right?
Yep.
They're 5-point favorites. Let's just assume the Patriots win. I don't know if they will, but let's assume they win. They get to 7-2, and the Bills drop to 5-3, having lost already to New England once. Their odds of winning, I would imagine they would no longer be the favorites to win the division. Like right now, the Chiefs are the favorites to win the AFC West despite being in 3rd place, and the Bills are the favorites to win the AFC East despite being in 2nd place. I would imagine the loser of this weekend's game will no longer be the favorites in their own division, barring the teams ahead of them also losing. So those to me are real stakes, especially if I can just spin it one little tiny more piece forward. The top wild card team in the AFC is staring down the barrel at a trip to whoever wins the AFC North. Now, maybe that's a nice, easy game against a bad Steelers defense and 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers. Or maybe that's a game against a red-hot Baltimore Ravens team and Lamar Jackson in their building. So there are real stakes in that regard to this football game.
The story around the Cowboys has followed their statistical profile. Great offense, bad defense. Thus, one side of the ball is to blame for their mediocre record. Well, Cowboys coach Brian Schottenheimer.
Coach is going to love this.
Says, slow down, everybody. Take a listen.
None of us have done good enough. Coaches, players, head coach, none of us have done good enough. That's real. Our scorecard is what it is, and that's not just, defensively, that's offensively, We're a football team that's 3-4-1. You can take the stats on offense and shove them up your far as I'm concerned, I mean, is what it is. We want to win, and people talk about, hey, MVP and this and that. Dak Prescott doesn't want to win MVP. He wants to win a Super Bowl, and that's what we want to win.
Okay, I'm not going to do that. Here are the statistics. Second in points, second in total yards, first in passing yards. The defense, 31st.
This is a hilarious graphic. That's just first or second, and then second to last or last in everything.
Coach, what is your take on Schottenheimer's?
Yeah, I thought it was eloquently put. When Brian was my offensive coordinator, there were times where I'm sure he really enjoyed those offensive stats he had, and they were really important to him. But then when you get moved up to the head coaching job, you realize that those aren't significant. And collectively, the goal is to win the game. And I do think it's not an unfair question, but it's not a great question when you ask Brian that, understanding that he's running the offense, because it makes it look like that's all he cares about. That's what's most important to him. Hey, as long as my offense looks good, I'm okay if we lose games. And that couldn't be further from the truth for him. And as good of a season as Dak is having, I'm sure he's tired of hearing the same old story of, can't win big games, can't win the playoffs, can't go to the NFC Championship game. He'd like to end that.
I do think Dak, though, would like to win the MVP.
Oh,
They're not mutually exclusive. We know he wants to win a Super Bowl, too, but, he'd love to win that, too. I think you hit it on the head, Coach. Like, Schottenheimer, and I don't know him personally, obviously you do. I think he's done a good job. But I also think, and again, I think overall he has done a very good job. But I think he's kind of getting a pass for the defense. And I get it, he's an offensive guy. It's not his side of the ball. But like you said, he's the head coach now. And so ultimately, if that defense is terrible, it does land at his door, whether it's changes in personnel, getting on the coaches, getting rid of the coach, some coaches, whatever it might be. It might not be fixable, but he's got to do whatever he can to fix it, because that, like you said, Nick, that graphic, that just can't be for a team that has hopes of making the playoffs. And so he does have to do whatever he can to at least get that defense to be respectable.
Right, which right now I don't know that they have the horses for it. And I do think that if there is a coach that has to wear this the most, it's the defensive coordinator. It's Matt Eberflus. I really respect what Schottenheimer, because Coach Mangini has always said, you are the head coach of the entire team. You don't get to just be like, this is my carve out. And so, yes, he does have to wear it. But I have been most impressed this year from the Dallas Cowboys by Dak Prescott. I've been second most impressed, if I'm grading on a curve, by my expectation from George Pickens. And I've been third most impressed by Brian Schottenheimer. I think Schottenheimer has done a really good job. And I think that he does get some credit for elevating Dak, in my opinion, to a level. I think this is the best football Dak's played, last week notwithstanding. And I think we will judge him more fully as a head coach once because it's not just that they traded Micah. It's also now all the injuries in the secondary, including the very weird Trayvon Diggs injury that I understand. If anyone actually reports on it, you'll no longer be on the group text to tell us which college free agent signed with the team. But I'd like to know what happened to Trayvon Diggs. And so you're injured, you traded away your best player, all those things. You would like to see some improvement over the course of the year, but I think Schottenheimer's been one of the brighter spots for the Cowboys this year.
And in fairness to Matt Eberflus, over and over on this set and every other set across the country, people have talked about the trade of Micah Parsons and the impact. Does he become a better defensive coordinator if he has Micah Parsons?
Yes.
Yeah, but he's really the same defensive coordinator. He just, when you lose a piece like that, and then you do have the injuries that you have, and look, I would imagine that they're spending every waking moment trying to figure out ways to improve that defense. One of the things you can do as a head coach is you can slow the game down. But now if you realize your only chance is to score a bunch of points, do you want to take rhythm away from your offense to try to slow the game down because you know that your defense is so vulnerable?
Do they have the players to not be in the basement?
I think they're going to be around the basement with that group.
I mean,
right
someone's
now.
got to be last.
Yeah, they're going to be.
Not the Cowboys.
It's not as embarrassing for
Basement
Dallas
or basement adjacent
as it is the Steelers. The Steelers have players.
Yes.
The Bengals don't. The Cowboys don't.
And the Steelers invested
Yeah,
the
a
most
lot
money.
of money. Pumpkin mode for Caleb. That narratively, that doesn't make sense, guys.
Nick, you don't care.
He's
You
the number
dumped
one
him.
pick.
You dumped him.
I understand, but
You couldn't care
narratively,
less.
it doesn't make sense.
Bears
He still got it, I think.
Cincinnati Sunday at 1. Chicago's favored against the Bengals defense that just gave up 39 to the Jets. Brew, we'll start with you. What would another lackluster game for Caleb mean?
I think it might mean one of two things, Coach. One, it could, and it's still early, I guess. I mean, right? A lot of other players in his class are cooking. But it might mean he's like Nick's other guy, Trevor Lawrence. Like he's all right. Is a starter. It's pretty good. But not, and I hesitate to just write guys off now because we look at Darnold, Daniel Jones, and Geno Smith, but I'm saying Baker, he just might be pretty good. The other thing, though, I think it could mean, Coach, he's thinking too much, which he probably is because of Ben Johnson's putting a lot on his plate. But it's a thinking position. I think that's a big difference. I think sometimes that's why you see these excellent college quarterbacks that never become excellent in the NFL. And you see some guys who are, solid in college and become great because I think it's processing, decision-making, getting rid of the ball quickly, how, smart you are with, his pre-snap stuff is still a problem. It's just slow. Even if he's getting up there and they run the right play, it's just slow. So it just might mean that, I guess what I'm saying, they both go together. Maybe if he's thinking too much, he just is going to be a pretty good, okay quarterback, but not a great quarterback.
What's strange about this pattern, so he's had 2 games in a row where he's been sub-80 quarterback rating, and this could potentially be, let's say this is 3rd game in a row where he's sub-80. This is the exact same time as last year when he had 3 games in a row of sub-80 quarterback rating. And really, it's the same situation. They were 4-2. They lost the Washington game. That started his 3 games of not very good quarterback rating. And we know how that panned out. And now here we are almost identically a year later, and we're in this same rut, which is disappointing because you'd like to think that with the addition of Ben Johnson and now how far into the season we are, that there may be the off game, but it's not going to be 3 in a row. It's not going to be this type of pattern, and we had grown out of that. And at some point, I don't think we're there yet, but we got to stop making excuses for his lack of progress. It can't be all the head coaches and the offensive coordinators and the opportunities. And at some point, it's about him.
Looks like you want to say something, KW.
If he has another bad game, it's time to reevaluate the ceiling and the floor for Caleb Williams. So I went through the other quarterbacks in his draft class. Jaden Daniels, ceiling, Super Bowl MVP. Right? MVP, we're kicking superstar. Floor, too skinny. But that's what it is. It's
floor is. I know
Never
his mom
healthy,
got to get
banged up.
Yeah,
all the time?
floor is the
just in and out of the
Great, but
lineup.
okay.
Great, but banged
his
up.
mom got mad at people talking about this, but the floor is RG3.
Yeah,
It's and again, I feel that's just Washington, dynamic, amazing quarterback that injuries take in a different direction. That is not. It feels harsher than I mean it to be, but that's what it was.
Bo Nix, Sean Payton's Drew Brees.
Okay, that's not his ceiling.
That's what Sean Payton says it is.
I understand, but his ceiling is not that he's the 7th greatest quarterback ever.
He says he's good.
Okay, but that's all right. I'm just telling you. I mean, I don't know.
What does Sean Payton think his ceiling is?
Well, Sean Payton thought Taysom Hill's ceiling was Steve Young. I don't care about what Sean Payton says. I think.
Bo Nix, pretty darn good.
Oh yes, sure.
Floor?
What's his floor?
Mac.
Pretty good.
No.
Mac, you think is this? I don't think.
No,
Mac's
you can't say his floor is. I'm not trying to ruin your exercise.
Pretty good. Moving on.
I mean, that's not his floor. But go ahead.
What's his floor?
That he's not a long-term starter.
You think Mac
Coach
is there? Mac Jones?
I think that's
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. Go ahead. Drake.
Prince was promised.
Who is
Wait,
that?
what?
No,
This is Drake, or are you talking about
Drake.
Trevor Lawrence?
He's
Drake.
trying to steal that
The
nickname.
superstar.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah,
Superstar. Absolutely.
Prince
You
was
gonna
promised.
steal that nickname?
He's
No, we're
trying.
debating.
Wilde's doing this.
Floor,
clumsily. Go ahead.
maybe he gets hurt for running style. I don't know what
No,
his floor
floor
is.
is what Coach said, is the Darnold
Darnold.
trajectory.
Well, he's
Again, the floor. I
Beyond
think
the Darnold
ceiling and
trajectory
floor
already.
are
Turns
tough
out they're quite
exercise.
argumentative.
Yeah, but go ahead.
Caleb's ceiling is Mahomes 2.0, but I think his floor is lower than any of those guys.
Is his ceiling still? His ceiling is not Mahomes 2.0 anymore.
You think his ceiling's done too?
Mahomes 2.0 is like one of the greatest quarterbacks
I didn't know we
ever.
got divorced
I
off
think
of that.
that's done. I think you even would admit that that's done.
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of my whole thing when I gave
Yeah.
him to Danny was not that I think he's going to be bad, but that I no longer think he is going to be a perennial MVP favorite.
Yeah.
Oh,
which
okay.
is what I I think.
So what's his floor?
I think I agree. Well. Again,
Well, what's
I
his-
think
what do
I
you
think
think his
floor
ceiling is?
KW. We should have maybe workshopped this a little better, and I apologize because I didn't mean to argue.
I like
with you on it.
it's the
No,
exercise.
good idea.
I like
no,
the
no, no,
exercise.
no. Well, because
rough sledding.
No, because I think floor. I think you're doing a guy's median outcome as their floor, and that's why our floors are
yes,
lower.
I understand. Every
And so,
floor is like,
no, but
you know,
working with us.
us.
I think
You're
Next
hung up
year.
on Bo Nix.
no,
but
no, no. I'm not
let's get
because
back
like
to
no.
Caleb.
I
He
think
could be
I think
Baker.
Who?
He could.
Caleb.
Caleb could be Baker, where they get rid of him, he goes somewhere else.
See,
Baker,
now
I
we're
think,
being
showed
too
more.
We're
Baker
doing
showed
too
more in
hyperbolic
Cleveland,
on
I
it.
thought.
I
I'm
think
just saying, number 1 overall draft pick doesn't work out at the team.
No,
they're
yeah,
at.
you hesitate to write a guy
Move
off.
on.
we're
I-
kicking
I would
around
agree with
dire changes
Yeah, that's
for
what
Caleb.
we're saying.
yeah,
Floor.
yeah, and no, that listen, and what nobody has mentioned in this segment is he's playing a defense that everyone cooks. And he just played a defense that everyone cooks. Now, granted, it was before T7, or post T7, but he needs to have a really good game. He needs to have a really good game.
So if he doesn't,
It's very
Well, he
concerning.
just also can't have a really bad game.
It's
That's another thing.
no,
It's
he
concerning.
should cook them. He should cook them.
Are the Dodgers going to end up on the Bud list? That's next.
I've got just what the doctor ordered for Caleb coming up.
Live from New York, it's a show that's congratulating Coach Mangini on his big World Series win last night. Congratulations, Coach.
I didn't have a lot to do with it, but I did watch it on TV and enjoyed it.
It's your team.
What did you do?
You just picked him.
He has
Yesterday?
been very consistent in picking
Hey,
it.
I mean, what do
Good
they
job.
call him? Coach?
Second hour, first things first. Today, is Jerry Jones actually not focused on fixing the Cowboys?
I have a great take on this topic.
In a story so weird, I'm not even sure if it's a sports story. And when you hear about the money, I'm not even sure he's making the wrong decision. Meanwhile, will the Ravens make a statement against the Dolphins, or is it time for the Ravens to go fishing? Like remember?
Like what?
Like
Bruce
when the
taking
season's over.
Bruce getting ready for the Bud list.
But right now, it's time for the most motivational segment in all of sports. Also time where we read some viewer mail. Today, because Christina was hard at work on First Things First overtime, I myself went out to the post office and got a letter. Dear Wilds, thank you for sunsetting Cowboy Brew. It's a nice term for canceling.
Is that real?
Sunsetting
I told
Cowboy
you you're
Brew?
gonna
No,
make
like
him
a real
upset.
comment.
Sunsetting?
No, getting rid of Cowboy Brew. People like that?
I do.
I didn't like it.
I think the
Told you,
viewers
Wild.
love Cowboy
I
Brew.
told you, Wild.
I'll leave it up to you,
likes
but I'm
it.
just saying.
You
I see the comments too. They love Cowboy Brew.
see, I told you.
But you know,
Everybody
it's Wild's
involved
done
with
funny.
it
When
likes
Cowboy Brew
Cowboy
got a lot
Brew.
of shine. Wild's didn't like it. I get it. It's all good. It's all good.
We appreciate the renewed focus on the power of the Bud list. How did it go last week? Cheers, Ryan and Brian. Well, thank you, Ryan and Brian. I appreciate your support for us replenishing the well of creativity. Last week's under duress list, Justin Herbert.
Oh, that's 2 weeks ago, I think.
Nope, this was last week.
Thursday, yeah.
3 touchdowns, beat
right,
the
that's
Vikings.
right. Yeah.
Jordan Love, you said he needed to take the torch from Brett Favre. What did he do?
Aaron Rodgers.
Or, yeah. One torch.
And Bart starts.
And the Ravens, you said they needed to get on track.
Yeah.
And they did. So again, the power of the Bud list, it's a better intro to show the value of the segment.
And the week before was 3 for 3 as well.
Great
so
job,
this is where you want to be. If you're struggling, this is where you want to be.
Perfect.
You want to hear your name mentioned in the next few
Excellent.
moments. All right, let's get to it. Number 3, Coach, I'm sorry, Yoshinobu Yamamoto. All right, and he's been playing great, but he's a pitcher, so he only throws every few games. And I know it's asking a lot, Yamamoto, but we need another complete game. You've already done it 2 times in a row. We need a third one. It is do or die, obviously lose and go home. You need to go 9 strong because we've seen that the Blue Jays have had their way with the Dodgers bullpen. And to be honest with somewhat their pitching staff. I mean, Snell wasn't terrible except for giving up homers on his first 2 pitches, but Shohei was okay, but the bullpen they destroy. And look, here's the difference. When you face the Blue Jays this series, you gave up 1 run in 9 innings. In the other games, the Blue Jays have averaged 7 runs a game. In your game against the Blue Jays, you held them to 4 hits. In the other 4 games of the series, the Blue Jays are averaging 12 hits. So you have to get it done. Maybe it'll give your other pitchers confidence for you to go out there and cook. This also would likely, barring some type of heroics from Shohei if there were a Game 7 and in Game 6, but this could make him the MVP.
Absolutely.
If the Dodgers can go ahead and take 2 games in Toronto, you could likely be the MVP. So Yamamoto, I do believe in you. You're my pick in 7, the Dodgers, so I believe in you. All right, at number 2, J.J. McCarthy.
Wow.
Now, JJ, welcome back. Good to have you back from your ankle injury, or as Nick called it earlier in the week, a soft benching. Whatever it was, it's semantics, right?
Yeah.
It's semantics. Ankle injury or Carson Wentz was playing better. But whatever the case, you are back now. Wentz is hurt, and you have to get it done. I mean, look, it's going to be tough, too, because you're coming back against the Lions. Then you have Baltimore. You get Chicago, which won't be easy. And then Green Bay and Seattle. So even if it's not about getting you guys back in the playoffs like last year, that's what you want, and you're on the verge of falling out of it. But the end of this season, this is really about you showing that you are the franchise quarterback going forward. The Vikings gave up Sam Darnold and Daniel Jones, who right now are playing like 2 of the better quarterbacks in the league. Both of them are top 10 quarterbacks this season. So you have to go out and show that you can be a franchise quarterback. And despite winning, he was rookie of the week or player of the week.
Offensive player of the week.
You've really had 1 good quarter.
Just 1 quarter.
Of the 8 quarters you've played, you've only had 1 that was good. So you have to get it done. You got everything. You got a good coach he's a great with quarterbacks, Kevin O'Connell, great receivers, obviously Justin Jefferson, nice run game, or a tight end, so run game. So you have everything in place and a great defensive coach in Brian Flores. So you just got to go out there and cook. You went to Michigan, where one of my daughters went, so I'm pulling for you.
Okay.
Number 1, we just spoke about him, Caleb Williams. All right, look, you entered the league, it was unfair. It was unfair, the burdens that people put on you. This is just a fact. All right, some people were saying that you were the 6th best quarterback on the planet in the NFL when you still were in college. I mean, so that's a tough burden. That's tough to wear, okay? And then beyond that, some people were saying you were Patrick Mahomes 2.0, which, Coach, 2.0 means better.
No, it just means newer.
It means, if you're 2.0, you're better.
You could be better.
Nick didn't know it meant that, but that's what it meant, all right? It means you're better. So, and then some people even said you were going to lead the Bears to the Super Bowl. as a rookie. So I'm just saying it was unfair. But hey, you still have to produce. I'm just saying, you still have to produce. All right, so you got the Bengals. That's what you want. You're number 1 on the Bud list. That's what you want. All right, so you have to go out there and get it done, Caleb. I don't understand what's going on with you, but here are your rankings right now. Completion percentage, which some people don't care about, but I think is informative. 24th in the league.
It's not great.
Touchdown passes this year. 19th in the league.
Not great.
Passer rating, 20th in the league. And according to Pro Football Focus, which I get it, their value has come under question on this show by some people, but they have you as the 31st, ranked 31st among 32 quarterbacks in on-target passes. So the accuracy is in
I don't
question.
need to run the numbers on that.
To know that?
That's true.
Well, NFL Next Gen has him dead last in the league in expected completions.
Yeah, whatever.
I think I'm messing up. Expected completion percentage.
You see the games. His guys are open, he throws it over their head.
Yeah, that's the thing. You have, whether he's a great head coach or not, Ben Johnson is a very good offensive mind. We know that. You got the receivers. You got the offensive line. You got a good running back with DeAndre Swift. And all the other players in your class, or some of the quarterbacks, certainly Jaden Daniels and Drake May, and Bo Nix right now are ahead of you. So Caleb, you got the Bengals. You have got to cook, all right? I think you can do it. I'm pulling for you. That's the Bud.
Excellent Bud list as always, Coach. How did you like it?
Coach.
I didn't love it.
Wow.
Hey, Yamamoto on the Bud list. Here's my feeling. You've done enough. You've done enough pitching. You've done a great job. It's time to shut it down. No one's going to be mad at you, and everybody will respect the things you've already contributed. So take it easy. Maybe an inning or two, couple dingers. That's it.
Inning or two.
Couple dingers.
Shut it down. Let the rest of the team come out and go on vacation. I think it could be a lot of fun. So that's the one I didn't love. The other two I really did enjoy. For me, though, I'm surprised you didn't put this guy on the Bud list because it seems pretty clear that he needs to be there. And not just for this game, but for moving forward, that's Lamar Jackson. And Lamar is in such a critical moment for the organization, and Tyler Huntley comes in, they score 30 points, they break the 4-game losing streak. Now you get to come back, you get the extra rest, you come back, you get a chance to have 2 wins within a very small amount of time. You go to 3-5, Pittsburgh has to play Indy. You could only be 1 game back and have a real chance now to make a significant run at the division. But you've got to be great for them to do that. And they've gotten healthier. Derrick Henry's playing better. They seem to be running the ball better. And when you look at it, last year they were 5th in time of possession. This year they're 27th. So that'll help the defense significantly. The other issue with him is he's been sacked 15 times in just the 4 games, where last year he was sacked 23 times total. So he's at double the sack percentage than he was last year. So maybe that's a function of you want to hold the ball so you can throw it downfield. We don't have to do that. Just tuck it away and go. And you need to be great for this team to have a chance to achieve what they should probably achieve based off the talent level you have.
Great addition, Coach. He was definitely under consideration.
Yeah.
Ravens were number 1 last week. I generally don't go back-to-back, so that's why I didn't put them on.
It's almost unfair.
Yeah.
To provide that much
everybody
motivation
knows the
for
power.
one team.
Yeah, I
It's
don't wanna get
like
Too much medicine.
Yeah.
You have a reaction.
Exactly.
KW.
Well, it's 4:13. It's time, whether you like it or not, for the Sports Media Ombudsman.
Do you think you're always going to say whether you like it or not? Do you think at any point you're just going to be like, hey, guys, and time now? Ever? Like just...
I think it's... Well, you don't think it works?
No, I'm just asking.
I'm just telling people whether they like it or not.
Today's Sports Media Ombudsman is a very earnest edition. But before I get to it, a few updates on previous sports media on
Great.
Oh.
So, no, sincerely. Last week we brought up Andrew Filipponi, friend of the show.
Oh, gosh.
In Pittsburgh.
I saw it on the internet.
He said if the Bengals beat the Steelers, he's going to get his nipples pierced with no
Numbing
agent.
Oh, man.
He did it yesterday, and they raised over $10,000 for breast cancer.
That's
So
great.
shout out to 93.7
Did he look
in
really
Pittsburgh.
in pain?
He looked like a lot of pain, and it's not a good look on my
rough
friend.
photo.
But
Could have gone one.
But, no, he went with both. Good for him. He did it. Also, people wondered, hey, was Sports Media Ombudsman going to cover like the new NBA coverage, which I think in large part's been really, really good.
Yeah.
Adonis Haslam, I think, has been really good.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed a lot of it. Do I feel like we were maybe sold a bit of a bill of goods with these weekly Michael Jordan sit-downs, which appear to be one sit-down from months ago, sitting in his house, and we're already
They
to
got him for
the
an hour and a
complaining
half.
about how much we used to play and these guys don't part of the programming? Maybe, but overall, I like having the Peacock back. I like having John Tash's music. All that's been good. And now the sincere edition. Because while last week I told you guys our colleague Colin Cowherd won the Marconi, today, an even bigger day for Colin Cowherd. For the far overdue induction into the Radio Hall of Fame. Tonight in Chicago. And I know you guys are probably thinking the same thing I'm thinking. How the hell was he not already in it? And I just want to say this, and I will do this as quickly as I can without getting emotional, but this is very important to me. When Colin is who I wanted to be. I listened to every radio show he ever did from the time I was in high school through when I graduated college. I got my first agent by cold calling agents and saying, hey, you don't represent Colin Cowherd. Do you want to represent the next one? And one of them took me up on it. And then when I got to Fox, whether people know this or not, I got hired for a show that by the time I got there, they were no longer making. And I kind of was a man without a country living in LA with my family in Houston. And it is because Colin said, hey, why don't you let Nick fill in for me? Why don't you give him something, give him a real shot, that my entire life and world changed. And so people say all the time, like, don't meet your idols or heroes or whatever. I met mine and worked with him, and it's the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. And for Colin, who I believe to be the single greatest sports radio talent in the history of the medium, to finally getting his just due and making the Hall of Fame, which again, I don't know how he didn't make 15 years ago, is awesome. So to my dear friend, Colin, congrats, buddy.
Very well said, and I second that on Colin. I go back to ESPN with Colin.
Yep.
You know, and I mean, I've been doing his show for 20 some odd years, you know, so I always felt he was phenomenal, and obviously that proved to be the case. But congratulations, Colin. Well deserved. Yeah, a bit late, but definitely well deserved. Congratulations.
I thought that was very nice too. You mentioned two of your friends now, one of which going to the Hall of Fame. One has a double nipple piercing. Numbing.
Yeah, but maybe that's how he'll get in one day. I mean, maybe that's how he gets in one day.
I'm adding the Steelers defense to the Bud list. Little bit of a are you for real game against the Colts. For as much as the Colts are like putting up points on the scoreboard, no one really believes in them. So this doesn't make any statistical sense, but it makes narrative sense. I feel like if the Colts put it on the Steelers in their great defense, people are like, ooh, maybe Daniel Jones is for real. Now, the weird part is, it doesn't actually make statistical sense because the Steelers don't have a good defense. It's strange. Passing offense, Indy has the 6th best passing yards, 4th best yards per pass, and 6th best passer rating, Daniel Jones. The Steelers are last in passing yards per game. They have up the most, 24th, 19th. So it doesn't really make any sense. But if Daniel Jones, who is playing great, puts it on the Steelers defense, who is not playing great, people will say, ooh, Daniel Jones is really doing great. I know it's odd. How about Jonathan Taylor? Similar story. Everybody thinks Jonathan Taylor is excellent. But again, if he's able to run all over the Steelers, who he's first in rushing touchdowns, the Steelers' rushing defense is not quite as bad as their passing defense. But I feel like if Jonathan Taylor puts it on the Steelers defense, has a multiple touchdown game, his MVP case will get stronger.
He's first in
No,
rush
he
yards
is.
per
The
game.
Colts team
Yeah,
is
that's the
sixth.
Colts
So
team.
just so
Right,
people,
That-
Jonathan Taylor individually is first amongst
Yeah.
players. Colts are sixth among teams.
So Steelers under actual duress this Sunday, bro.
I think that's good because the Ravens are coming. I mean, like, they're 2 games up on the Ravens. Ravens win tonight. Steelers lose Sunday.
It'd be a
It's
game
one
back.
game
I mean,
back.
that is true. If just
So,
the
yeah.
Vegas favorites win this weekend, the Steelers will just be, I'm sorry, the Ravens will just be 1 game back.
Shockingly, the Steelers are 3rd in the NFL in missed tackles. Which just
What's going on, Coach? It's just
look, some of it is effort, and some of it is want to.
Some guys getting older.
Yeah, I was going to say, is some of it that they got old?
Yeah, when you have an old team in the middle of the season, guys get tired, and they'll perk back up when it gets close to playoff time, but they may not be doing enough to get them to that point.
And last year, if you remember, they fell off at the end of this season.
Right.
You know what I mean? They played their worst football at the end. This is happening earlier.
coming up next, a quick edition of No Huddle. We're not huddling like we usually do. And a strange story, but very lucrative, coming out of Dallas.
That is a great bug.
All gas, no brakes is
That's
fantastic.
great, especially once you know the story. It's an even greater.
Introducing Meta Ray-Ban Display, the world's most advanced AI glasses. With a full color display built into the lens of the glasses, it's there when you need it and gone when you don't. Send and receive messages, translate or caption live conversations, collaborate with Meta AI, and more. Be one of the first to try Meta Ray-Ban Display. Visit meta.com/Meta Ray-Ban Display to book a demo and find your pair.
Tomorrow, Game 6 of the World Series. Dodgers in Toronto. Coverage starts at 7. Dodgers trying to hang on for dear life, while Toronto's trying to take
Tough
home.
to repeat.
This would be a good win for Drake. Drake needs, not Drake May. Drake May is doing great, but the other Drake.
For Drake, what Drake? Oh, Drake the rapper?
He got his ring back in 2019 with the
Yeah,
Raptors.
but that was when he was flying high.
Yeah.
Wilds is saying
He doesn't need to go into the games. You know,
Coverage begins at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific.
Is he that affiliated with the Blue Jays?
yes.
Oh, yeah.
Everything
On
Toronto,
Fox.
everything Canada.
Chiefs
seen him
Bills
around.
Sunday afternoon. Not everything Canada. He's not big in Edmonton, is he?
Yeah, everything Canada, yeah. They,
Canada's huge.
I know,
Good
but
point.
they need to claim Drake.
Here's Patrick Mahomes on the icy reception he expects in Buffalo.
I mean, they don't like us. I mean, that's pretty. They do not like the Chiefs. But I mean, it is a cool environment. It'll be a great challenge for us, and they're loud, and that's what you want. You want to go in and be in a hostile environment. That's what football, when you watch on TV as a kid growing up, is the environments you want to play in. And so, obviously, they're not rooting for us, but you get to bond together as a team and get to go into a historic stadium and play in a great environment.
Okay. So historic. It's getting torn down, so this will be his
Yeah.
last.
Well, it might be his last.
Oh, that's a
If they lose, he could play. I mean, either way, he could play there again. If they lose, it's more likely that he would play there again.
This line, they must have heard your analysis. It moved back to 2.5.
Sounds right.
Wow.
That's good.
Who needs this win more?
I almost, didn't know if we were going to do this question because I think we might be unanimous on it. We'll find out. I think it's obviously Buffalo. I think Buffalo, first, right or wrong, Kansas City's confidence will not be shaken. Kansas City is going to feel like we are going to be playing in the final game of the season because we do every year. And the year we don't, we play in the second to last game of the season. And I also think Patrick's words from earlier this week really spoke to that. Patrick he's very cautious with what he says, but sometimes he does make a point. And when he said, we don't have as good of a record, but I'm having more fun this year, I read that to also mean I think we're better this year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not just that the offense is more fun, and I'm not trying to argue about it again. I'm saying I think Patrick feels like we're better. So I think even if they lose, the Chiefs are going to feel okay, even if it's an uphill battle for the division, all that. The Bills don't have a good win yet, unless Baltimore retroactively turns into a good win. But even that one was weird. They were getting beat bad for 55 minutes. The Bills have, for the first time really in Josh's career, real competition in the division and a legitimate contender-ish team in the division that they are currently chasing down. And the Bills are used to beating Kansas City in the regular season. And so for all those reasons, it's like, wait, this year, we didn't beat the Chiefs in the regular season, and we're a couple games out of first in our own division, and we don't really have a win to hang our hat on. Like, I think that would take a real emotional toll on Buffalo. So I think the Bills unequivocally need this game more, bro.
I agree with you that if the Chiefs lose, they're not going to lose confidence. You know, we've seen them bounce back time and time again and obviously do it in the postseason. But I think it's the Bills because you got to get to the postseason. And I think the Chiefs, even if they lose, I'll still think they will. But they will be 5-4. They do have the toughest.
Hold on, who needs it more, you said?
I'm saying that the Chiefs need it.
Oh, okay, you said the opposite.
Did I say the Bills?
Yeah.
The Chiefs, I think,
and they'd be 4-4 if they lose. Yeah.
Yeah, so they like, and they have a much tougher schedule than the Bills going forward. So I think the Bills, and if the Bills beat them, it'll be a big win because Coach said earlier, and you did too, like they haven't had a great win yet, but they've been beating the Chiefs in the regular season. What's that got them? You know, so I disagree with Coach in that even if the Bills lose, I think they're getting there. Even if they don't win the division, I think they'll be the wild card because I think they're very good, and two, their schedule's not tough. But I think with the Chiefs, I would expect them to I still think they would make the playoffs. But I'm just saying, at some point, you can't keep losing games, and you have a few more tough ones coming up.
Yep.
And it wasn't that long ago, I know they're on a 3-game win streak now, but that the Chiefs got beat by Jacksonville. So I think they need this game. They're the 7th seed right now. If the playoffs started now, 7th seed. If they lose, obviously they'd be out for the time being. So I think the Chiefs need it just for mathematical reasons.
Yeah, you feel like a lot of people feel, and you feel like the Bills feel that they're a pretty good team. That's what they went into the season feeling, but now we're 2-2 in the last 4 games. There is no signature win. There is no significant win. Your quarterback, who is excellent in protecting the football, has now had a rash of turnovers, which has been uncharacteristic. They're not horrible, but still very different than what you've experienced before. So are you good? Are you really that good midway through the season? If you lose another game here, Kansas City, they have the elite quarterback. They've got the track record of winning. They know that they can recover and dig themselves out of holes. Where the Bills they're not quite sure who they are and where they are. And if they lose this game, that doubt's going to continue to creep in as New England's confidence skyrockets.
I also think there is real singular pressure on the Bills this season. If you're Buffalo with Josh Allen, and you look at what has been, whether it is this moving forward or not, what has been the quarterback quartet atop the league, 4 AFC guys, Patrick, Josh, Lamar, and Burrow. That's what it's been. I'm not for most people. I know Jalen's gotten in there, and right, sure, but the top 4 that was most people's. Yep. Okay, well, Joe Burrow hasn't played since week 2 and is probably not playing again, and the Bengals are out. Lamar missed time, and the Ravens started 1-5. The Chiefs started 0-2. And the general media consensus, in mid-September was that the Chiefs were in huge trouble, and the Bills were 3-0 with a win over Baltimore that at the time looked maybe better than it does now, with what was supposed to be the easiest path to the 1 seed imaginable. Like, you got to remember, a month ago, even on this show, we were like, well, obviously the Bills are going to be the 1 seed. We just kind of had written that in because the Pats weren't hot yet, and we didn't know what the Colts were going to be. If that year is all, you can't take advantage of it. Of the Bengals being out, who have knocked you out of the playoffs, of the Ravens having this tough start, of the Chiefs starting slow. Your annual Chiefs-Bills game in the regular season is in your building this year, which is, changes year to year. If you can't, not only can you not take advantage of it, but all of a sudden, you're not even the preeminent team in your own division. It's like, what the hell happened here? And so I do think there is some real added pressure of, man, if not now, when for Buffalo. And I think that will really snap into focus if they lose this game. Because you're talking about the Chiefs being the 7th seed. I think, because they had the bye, if the Bills lose this game, they would be assuming the Chargers and Broncos both win, or the Chargers win this weekend, the Bills would be the 7th seed after this weekend. And so, that's not nothing.
All right, well, let's turn our attention to Monday night, where the Cowboys are hosting the Cardinals. Now, Jerry Jones, not totally focused on his football team finding pay dirt. His business, however, bro. Wall Street Journal has an article focusing on Jerry's natural gas investments. Jerry Jones says he has unlocked a $100 billion gas bounty in this drilling inferno. Holy cow. And then he told the reporter, that's why I'm talking to you on the telephone rather than trying to fix our defense with the Dallas Cowboys. Nick, you said you had an early candidate, or excuse me,
No,
a
it's
late
not taking
candidate for taking the month.
No, it's not taking the month. I just think it's good, solid take.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to water down take of the month. This is totally fine and totally reasonable, and it's why he absolutely should not be the GM of the team. It is totally legit for the owner of a team who got his money in his real business to be focused on his real business. Like the Penners, right, own the Broncos. They're the Walton heirs. Like the Walmart family owns the Broncos. If they are focused on, how the tariffs are going to affect Walmart, that's fine. They're not they're not making the trade deadline decisions. Right. And so I think this is oddly a really important moment for Steven or whomever else is in power with the Cowboys to be like, Dad, you're right. You have a chance to become because he's not one of the richest people in the world in the modern world where people do have hundreds of billions of dollars. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that you should be focused on. Can you cede some of the power from the football team to some of us so we can focus on this? Because you can't be if Brett Veach was like, also, by the way, I own a car dealership in town that I'm in charge. I'd be like, nah, man, you're spread too thin. like, not cool. I need you focused on the trade deadline. Jerry's talking about his natural gas empire. No problem, but then cede some of that power elsewhere. You seem skeptical, but what I'm saying is right.
I just felt like it was a weird flex. It's just weird. It's like, hey, I'm not doing my job very well, but I'm richer than I ever have been before. Why do you need to say that? You get a bad grade in your class and you walk out and tell the teacher, well, I still got a Maserati. Like, okay, we get it. You're really wealthy. And to bring the Dallas Cowboys into that call, was that a sports reporter? Was that from the Financial Times?
No, there wasn't a lot of sports in the article.
So it just seems like you're bringing that element of frustration for a lot of Cowboys fans that have been very dedicated and passionate about the team, and being a bit flippant with it. And I don't know if that's fair. I don't know why you necessarily would do that. Just seemed like a really strange way to flex on people.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of what you said, Coach. Like, I feel you, Nick. If he would, I think he feels like he can definitely do both. And
nobody can do both.
I think it'd be a great sign if he was like, I'm going to go into this business, I'm going to get more involved in this business now and turn over the team to someone else. I've been saying that for years. Be an owner like Clark Hunt, where we don't even hear about the owner till they're handing you the Lombardi trophy. Like, that's what he should be like. And if this were a sign that he was going to hire a real GM, make it Steven, whoever, and get out of football, other than being the owner, I would love that for the Cowboys. But I don't think that's what it was. And I also would say that if he is still as engaged in the Cowboys as he has always been, obviously you can make all the money you want. But if the Cowboys mean as much as you said they mean to you, I mean, he already has all the money he could ever hope for, that his kids and their kids and their kids can have. So to be like, well, I want to get another $100 billion, and that's why I'm not involved with the Cowboys right now. I mean, if the Cowboys, you've been saying you would do anything to get another Super Bowl, then why you got another $100 billion? That's great. It'll put him on the Forbes list and all that, but.
Yeah, unfortunately, you can't buy a championship.
Right. I mean,
right. But that's, I guess
how much money does the dude need?
I guess my point would be, and maybe I'm taking this either more seriously or in a different way than other people. I don't think Jerry, over the last 20-some years, has ever had something in his business life that was as exciting to him as the Cowboys. And it sounded to me from reading this article and what he's talking about that they basically made a $1 billion bet that could pay 100x, that he might actually have something that excites him as much as the Cowboys. And he'd still get to be the one.
Another $100 billion?
Well, when you say
$100 billion is a tremendous amount of money.
No, I get that, but he's never been hurting for money.
No, he's never been hurting for money, but this is exponentially different than the type of money he's had, and
Maybe
he does
buy the Chiefs.
That would be amazing.
They're not for sale.
Yeah, he buys another team and wins the championship. That would make sense.
But I mean, it just seems like an opportunity for people within the Cowboys to maybe wrest a little bit of control. Like, hey, Jerry, let us handle the trade deadline.
Chance.
I just don't see it. I think
the challenge, and this might be why it wasn't the take of the year and just a solid take.
Yeah,
is that
I didn't oversell it.
No, but it doesn't feel. It does make total sense, but it doesn't feel like it will happen.
No,
like, do you expect?
I never even went there in my mind. To me, it was more like, look how much money I'm making.
Oh, see,
I don't think he's thinking any less about the Cowboys.
He literally says it. He says he said it's $100 billion value. That's why I'm talking to you rather than fixing our defense.
Do you think he can fix the defense?
I am more interested in this because of the money than I am in the Cowboys. That's all.
It's just I'm making $100 billion. I don't really know how to fix the defense.
Well, that's not
right.
Let me tell you how much money I'm making.
Exactly.
So, all right, let's just spin it forward. Suppose that happens, and who should Stephen Jones? Is there someone out there? We've heard like Trey Hendricks and stuff. I think the Max Crosby stuff is.
Oh no! To me, it's less about a trade from this deadline than it is somebody that is singular job is the Cowboys on the field product, not the Cowboys business, not the brand, and not natural gas running that team the way literally every other team in the NFL has someone that's their singular job. I think this would be an opportunity. Maybe I'm a
they do have people like that. They just don't listen to them.
Well, yeah, they don't have power.
Right.
Yeah.
Natural Gas Daily Show. They're like, is Jerry too focused on the Cowboys? Lamar tonight. Why Brew is totally confident in number 8. That's next on First Things First. 99.8.
Nice.
You know, you can still play the Fox Super 6 NFL Challenge. Here's what you do. You download the Fox Sports app, and then you enter. You get a free shot to win $10,000 in cash prizes. It's a great deal. Check it out. Welcome back to the show. Ravens are in Miami. Lamar's back. Hasn't played since the Chiefs game, bro. What are your expectations? Resty or rusty?
Is rusty
a word?
Rusty's not a word.
I think I invented
it.
I like it.
Rusty's good.
You know what?
Rusty
I like
or
that.
rusty?
Rusty or rusty?
I like that.
Rusty. I expect him to be great. I expect him to, and maybe first couple possessions might be a little bit of rust, but I think he's going to throw the ball well. I think Derrick Henry's going to run really well. Miami has a really bad rush defense, so it might be a game where. What was that?
He said, you know who else does? Baltimore. But that was before.
No, that was before the toy toss that transformed the tacklers.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you forget.
The tacklers can stop the run now. So, I think Lamar's going to be great, and I think they're going to roll. I'll be surprised. I'll be shocked if they lost, although I left the 0.2%.
0.2%.
But I expect it to be a comfortable win.
Yeah, I don't know what the Baltimore equivalent of a light show is, but that's whatever that is. That's what I expect.
Right. I like it, Coach.
I mean, I would think that they're going to at least hang 30 on them, maybe more. And I would say if they don't, they should probably be pretty disappointed. And what I'm looking for tonight is this the team that's relieved that they just lost, that they just broke their 4-game losing streak? Or is this the team that truly believes that all that stuff is in the past and this is the team they are? And that to me is what we're going to see tonight is, are we happy to get a win, or are we sending a message to everybody that things are different now that Lamar's back?
All right, so listen, I am not as bullish as these two guys because I do think Lamar will be rusty to a degree. Not so much.
We did both pick him for the Super Bowl.
Right, no, that is true. But I'm going to ask a question that I think is going to drive Wilds mad because of what your answer is going to be. Brew, if by some chance the Ravens defense looks like it did pre-T7 and they lose, will you give up hope?
First of all, I can't even fathom that.
I know it's hard.
But you 0.2%.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, you give it a 1 in 500 chance.
Calculate that. Will I give up hope?
That they can win the division?
No.
I knew it.
Now,
I knew it.
Honestly, I would be like, they not winning the AFC. I would feel that way, but I would still hold out hope. But no, I mean, the division, if the Steelers lose this weekend, they're still what?
Two
games
I know.
back. I mean, the division's bad. The Bengals are going to be bad. I do think, though, Coach, it's not going to be easy for them to run through the division and win and sweep it.
Drew, they've won 2 games.
But even if they're rolling, that division is good. I mean, and again, wouldn't you agree? I get it. Their record is the record. But come on.
Drew, they supposed to be one of the juggernauts. They're S-Bob. They were the Vegas favorites.
They lost to the Chiefs, the Lions, and the Bills.
But going into
then the other games they lost were without Lamar.
But
they beat the Browns 41-17.
I'm throwing out the non-Lamar games. The point, what I'm saying is they were favored in Arrowhead.
No, I get that.
They were. I don't remember where the
only
Buffalo
blowout,
game was.
and I mean, I think it was technically a blowout, but the only game they weren't in was the Chiefs, and they were in that. But you know what I mean? That was the only one where they got outplayed. Detroit outplayed them, but it was still a good game. They outplayed Buffalo, and so I don't think, and I don't think you feel like they're really a 2-5 team.
Well, okay, go ahead. We got to do picks before we say goodbye, Coach.
Yeah, I am on board for Baltimore, and Baltimore by a significant margin.
Wow.
I like it.
I have Baltimore, but not by the significant margin you guys have.
We're treating this game like it was Marcus Mariota in Arrowhead, but it's Tua, fresh off of a 4-touchdown game in Miami versus, although you said he's going to be great, like maybe first 2 or 3 possessions. Like, well, how many possessions is he going to get?
So what's your?
He's going to get more than 2 or 3.
Baltimore still, but close.
Okay.
But close.
Look, I won a blowout, but I don't even care if it's close. Just win, baby. Ravens.
Yeah.
Dust, if I can change mine to the Dolphins, I will. Coming up next.
Do you enjoy playing in Buffalo?
I mean, they don't like us. I mean, that's pretty. They do not like the Chiefs.
And the Blue Jays are headed home, 1 win from a championship.
You know, we still have that belief, that known factor of us going out there and winning these games.
We're a football team that's 3-4-1. You can take the stats on offense and shove them up your as far as I'm concerned. I mean, it is what it is.
Oof, all that and more on First Things First overtime. See, it's a new thing. I got a little screwed up. Right now, we're headed to Miami for Lights, Camera, Jackson. Lamar's back. Ravens defense looks to be back, maybe.
I've been telling y'all.
What?
It's going to be sweet when you guys have to admit.
Really?
When it's been 7 straight weeks of solid defensive play, and you have to admit, like last year, you know what? You were right.
So here's
because last year, when I said it was the culture, I said they got a defensive culture, they will be back.
Yeah.
You mocked me. You laughed at me. You ridiculed me. And then weeks later, you were agreeing.
Last year.
New segment alert called Judge Parkins.
Oh.
I'm making the freestyle segment. Judge Parkins.
I'm ready to go.
Court's in order. My argument.
All right, your argument. Go ahead.
I'll say Brew's argument.
Oh. Wait.
The Ravens defense has been good for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, they're back. And they're unquestioned. You can't question the fact they're back. My argument, Judge Parkins. The Dolphins' defense has been good for 1 week. And that's just nothing. that you can throw that in the trash.
Right.
And guess what? I didn't even bring it up. The Dolphins' defense held Bijan Robinson to about 50 total yards, 25, 26 or something like that, running through the air. So do I have a case that he should be a little bit worried? I'm not buying in that the defense.
Now let me make my case.
I was
He
gonna say, he
misrepresented
made your
my
case.
case.
Yeah,
First of all, the Ravens defense played well against everybody's All-American, not Kirk Cousins. All right, making his first start in years. All right,
Please address the judge, not the defender.
That's number one, right?
Yeah.
And then Caleb, who you think is awesome, who you think is Patrick Mahomes 2.0. They shut him down, all right? And they have a defensive coach. And I'm not saying they're back. I'm saying they are en route to being back. They will continue to get better and better and better. And by the season's end, it'll be like a top 12-ish defense, which I can take.
All right,
I can
rule.
handle that.
I don't even know how you're going to do it.
Can I just throw out the case? Yeah. Overruled, it goes to the plaintiff.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Absolutely.
I accept it.
Yeah, thank you.
I accept it.
Now, for the
What's
second
happening?
straight first things first overtime, should we attempt to answer the
Yeah, what's on
question
the
that's
line
on the
for
bar?
Lamar tonight?
Me or you, Brew?
Go ahead.
All right, fine, I'll do it. Listen, he has to be great. He has to be great. Now, it's not about like style points, but like Lamar and the Ravens have to be great. They have to win. They have to begin the run because they have eliminated all of the margin for error. The defense wasn't good. Lamar was injured. The defense was injured. Now's the right. They got 5 losses. So you can't mess around. You were just talking about the Dolphins against the Falcons last week. Weird things can happen on a Thursday night road game. Like, this is not a lock. No game in the NFL is a lock. And I get it. They should win. But if you look at their upcoming schedule for the next 5 opponents, we've talked about this ad nauseum, but their defenses are awful. So hopefully we stop talking about the Ravens defense. The goal here should be that the 2-time MVP of the league, who is back, carries them, and they put up 30 a game against all of those teams, and the defense can be 12th or 17th or 19th or wherever they're going to settle in this year. It's time for Lamar to show that he's great, which he is.
I think he will be great. Where I differ with you is he has to be great. They have to win. If he's not great and they win, I'll take it because I'll look at it as rust, like you.
Sure.
And just think, okay, he's going, they'll get better. They do have the cushion with those teams they're playing to gradually get better and maybe still win. I think he will be great. I'd like to see him be great. I would say what's on the line, that question, and this isn't literal, but playoffs. Not meaning if they lose, they won't make it, but I'm just saying, like, I talked about the Chiefs not having a ton of room for error. Like, you don't have that much room for error. And again, just like we said about Chicago, if they lose to the Dolphins with Lamar, then you just might not be good enough to win the number of games you need to win going forward. You could lose to a Cleveland or a Pittsburgh or somebody, or certainly Green Bay and New England.
Certainly. And you have, not so much today, but overall, you keep making the point correctly. The Ravens are still us, Bob. You don't want the goalpost to move to where, it's like pat on the head. Oh, good job. You clawed your way into the playoffs. Narratively, though, that has happened. And it's happened because I tried to make this point last hour, but I'm going to harp on it here. And it's why what's on the line. I will give Lamar grace because of the rust factor, but the Ravens in short order need to look awesome again. They need to, because they were the favorites to win the Super Bowl. They were road favorites in Kansas City. I poke fun sometimes, or poke at other media members' kind of obsession with regular season Baltimore and regular season Lamar. But a guy I have a lot of respect for, and shout out to him, congrats on the newest addition to his family, Ben Solak, put on either Twitter or Blue Sky during week 1 while they were dismantling Buffalo. He's like, week 1 of the season, something to the effect of, it all feels so unfair and anticlimactic because Baltimore is so clearly better than every other team in the league. I don't even know who's going to be in second. The feeling about Baltimore going into this year was they're the best team. that they arguably should have the 2-time defending MVP, 3-time overall MVP.
Yep.
The defense got better all because it ended last year so strong. That's where we were. And then it was a combination of defensive injuries, weird stories. Lamar gets hurt, and it all kind of has fallen down. But the defense is the healthiest it's been all year, with the exception of Matabuke, who's not coming back. Lamar is now back. To Danny's graphic, you have the easiest schedule of any team in the NFL over the next 5 weeks. You should kick ass. If you are an actual Super Bowl contender, let alone favorite, it should be a bunch of 31-13 type of performances when the quarterbacks you're playing are Tua, J.J. McCarthy, whoever starts for the Browns at that point, call it Dylan Gabriel, Justin Fields or Tyrod Taylor for the Jets, and then Jake Browning or Joe Flacco for the Bengals. Like, it should be that you are red hot going into the Steelers game, which is, I think, the first game after that stretch. Like, that's what it's got to be.
Brood, was it Lamar that earlier in the show that we had sound from that said it's do or die?
I don't know if he exactly said.
Okay, it was.
We had him speak.
Yeah, so Hobbs told me it was. I was like, I think it was Lamar. Glass half full. This is very half full. Like 50 foot.
Exactly half. Yeah.
This might be just what the doctor ordered for you. Because Lamar has been cruising through these regular seasons, and we always would be like, man, he plays so loose and free during the regular season when they're up and nothing's really in doubt. The playoffs are a foregone conclusion. But now it's a game against the Dolphins is do or die. He's getting all this, like, season in the balance stuff for the playoffs. Maybe get some callus on his, what did he refer to it as? Remember, he was like, I play antsy?
Yeah, he's I get antsy.
Yeah.
Maybe having some playoff type games in the regular season might.
Then you start going in the playoffs.
And you
That's
remember,
very glass half full.
In the
58%.
off season, I said I would like some. It might be nice for some adversity. Now I didn't want this much adversity, but adversity. I mean, this could actually be good for them because they have kind of cruised the last few years. So, yeah, I hope you're right.
Well, the other thing, too, is when we've seen Lamar this year, he has been great.
Right. That's why I don't know about the rust, because, I mean, from game one, he's like game one, he was great.
Yeah, they're averaging
last
33 a game. They're averaging 30 when he plays. So, I just expect him to be great. But the NFL's weird. This isn't college football. Weird thing.
I just want to say one thing before we get to quarterback quarterly on the rust. We've never seen Lamar after an injury layoff. The 2 times he's missed time, he didn't come back.
Out for the season.
So it was.
That's true.
2021, he missed the final 4 games. 2022, he missed the final 5 games and the playoff game. He didn't, and it might be 4 and 5 or 5 and 4, but whatever it is, he was out and never. They were end of season injuries. So yes, we've seen Lamar obviously in week 1, but that's different. That's when everybody's coming off training camp, and so I will give Lamar some grace tonight because I do think rust is a very real factor for him. I won't give the defense grace because I don't think they've earned it, even though we're in the post-T7
They shouldn't get grace, though.
Yeah, and so I am interested to see how Lamar looks, with the first time ever where he's missed a month during the year and is coming back.
They may rely more on Henry, too.
Well, that's the other guy who's kind of not gotten a pass, but slid under the radar that he hasn't had this monster year.
It's time now for our second installment of Quarterback Quarterly with Week 8 in the books. We're going to do this 4 times. It's an old throwback to when there were 16 games, but it still works, I think.
I think so, too. Technically, it's the 3rd. We did a preseason report before the regular season, and then after week 4, after week 8.
I remember, Danny.
Thanks, Nick. You're a true friend. So these are the guys that are off the quarterly report. The injured quadrant, self-explanatory. Lamar, Purdy, Kyler, Jaden, J.J. McCarthy. A lot of them coming back this week, including Lamar, tonight. The waiting game. Since he's waiting for Joe Burrow to return, the Saints still waiting for a franchise quarterback, probably in the draft, but who knows? Maybe Tyler Shook. The lower right quadrant. Locally, yes. You cannot tell a Broncos fan anything negative about Bo Nix. They love him in Denver. Jackson Dart, they think they got the answer in New York City. Nationally, we got a lot of questions about those guys. And then CJ Stroud. I don't know who you are anymore. 3 games this year, you've been great. 4 games this year, you've been awful. The first 17 games of your career, you were awesome. The second 17 games of your career, you were bad. I don't know who you are.
All right, hold on. Before you move on, Wilds, you look quizzical.
No, let's keep going.
No.
Quarterback quarterly.
No. Okay, all right, go ahead.
I still want to go.
I'm weak in confidence.
No,
Wilds doesn't like it.
no.
Okay.
No, it's just I
So we're
It
starting.
looks like a chemistry equation.
No,
It's a quarterly report. Let's
keep going.
Quarterly report, how I'm grouping the quarterbacks. Now,
This part I like.
Wilds doesn't remember, but the beginning, the first one, there was the It's Fluid quadrant.
I remember.
Trademark Brew. Thank you, Nick.
Yeah.
Then after Q1, there was, hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
Trademark Wilds. So we debut with T5, the throwers that torpedo the team. TTTT.
Oh,
Trademark Nick.
I like
had to
that.
get one.
You left the T out when you.
Well, I mean, he had T7, you have
Did
T6.
Nick come up with that?
No, I came up with it, but he said that everyone's
that's good.
biting his
I like
the
that.
throwers that torpedo the team. Dylan Gabriel, Justin Fields,
like
Tua,
that.
Cam Ward, Michael Penix.
So Wilds
Bryce
is
Young.
the only one that can't do an 8.
Hold on a second.
T something.
But Trevor's team hasn't been torpedoed.
Okay.
That's unfair to him.
He's the weak point of the team objectively.
They're a few weeks away.
They would be. The guy's got 9 touchdowns, 5 picks, middle of the pack in yards. Everything
A
else.
lot of Nick guys on that list.
I noticed the same thing, Brew. I noticed the same thing.
What do you?
Maybe that just is what it is.
I noticed the same thing. You would not agree that Trevor Lawrence is holding back the Jaguars?
Well, it doesn't. It's not the throwers that are slightly holding back an otherwise promising team. It says torpedoed, and I don't think they've
How
been
about
torpedoed.
tanked the team?
Tanked the team?
tanked
They're not tanked yet either.
No,
they're 4-4.
Taint.
Oh, okay,
T-A-I-N-T.
got you. All right,
Taint.
go ahead. Go ahead, next.
We'll
Gino.
think about that one.
Where's
Both.
Caleb though?
Oh, so I'm glad you asked, Brew. It's Danny's quarterback quarterly. So the second quadrant, do it for me. Do it for Danny. Justin Herbert and Caleb.
Wow.
These guys need to play well so that they have a prayer of staying in the A, B, or C blocks of these shows.
Yeah.
I've just staked a lot of my national reputation that Caleb will be great, and I know Justin Herbert's great, but he needs to win in order for us to talk about the Chargers.
Is there anyone, because we all have our guys,
Yeah.
and sometimes we have our main guys, then we have kind of like our
Auxiliary.
auxiliary like squads. Who is there? These are just the only 2 guys you rock with? In
No,
the
he
whole
has
league?
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen's
Do
my
you
MVP.
have Josh?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Josh
He's
Allen's
MVP
second
and
best
Super
player
Bowl
in
pick.
football,
Yeah.
Super Bowl
Well, you
pick,
picked-
MVP.
Okay.
I've been saying Josh
I
Allen.
don't know if that qualifies though as him having Josh.
Well,
You think he's great? We all think
you
he's
certainly
great.
don't have him.
No, I know, but I mean,
oddly,
he
Josh Allen,
is
you're a Josh
open.
Allen guy.
Nobody has a.
I mean, I'm the Josh Allen guy.
You
Everybody
can't be
knows
the
that.
Josh Allen guy
But
when you got
Danny,
Mahomes.
let me rephrase it. I was the Josh Allen guy, then Danny came along.
He's
and
there
took
for the
it. That's
taking.
fine, but go
And
ahead.
if you
I'll let you
claim
get back
him,
to your
okay,
quarterly.
but I,
Sorry.
yeah, these 2.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, these 2 are comfortably
like
mine.
that.
I would love to have Josh Allen.
No, those are your
mine.
guys.
He's an auxiliary guy.
All right, he can be
Auxiliary.
he's an auxiliary guy. The next quadrant are guys who are playing at their ceiling. I cannot imagine a better version of Baker, Goff, Hurts, Dak, Daniel Jones, Jordan Love, Sam Darnold, and Aaron Rodgers. Now, these are very different players right now. Dak is throwing the ball at a level that Aaron Rodgers is not in terms of downfield, the Bake Show with the fourth quarter comebacks. Some stats for Jordan Love are exemplary. We've seen Hurts have better individual numbers at times, though he only has 1 interception. But these guys, I cannot imagine their fan base saying, you know what, I think there's another gear here. I can think that this guy is going to play much better.
I think that's fair. You're a little too down on Baker for my liking, but we'll get to our critiques in a moment. I'll let you finish.
Oh, wow.
You're just too down on Baker. He doesn't. Your stupid eye test. You don't like him.
I like Baker a lot. He just easily
you're
could have a
Brew.
losing record.
I like him, but go ahead.
I like him, but he easily could have a losing record. And then the final quadrant, the MVP candidates. Now, Jonathan Taylor cannot be in this quadrant because it's quarterback quarterly, but these are the only 4 quarterbacks I can legitimately see winning the MVP award. Patrick Mahomes, that's obvious. Josh Allen, MVP from last year. He's the 3rd favorite right now for MVP. Schedule opens up. He should go on a massive statistical run. Matt Stafford's stats have been absolutely incredible. And Drake May's got a legit shot at the 1 seed. And if he keeps having big plays every week, there's going to be a lot of narrative stuff on his side. Those are the 4 guys who can win the MVP. So that's how I am grouping the quarterbacks after the second quarter of the NFL season.
Okay, so listen, I think it's a good quarterback quarterly with one, I think, just glaring error.
Glaring error.
And that is Josh Allen does not have a stronger MVP case than, and I can't believe I'm saying this, than Jordan Love. He just doesn't. And the idea that, well, his schedule's going to open up, his schedule's been wide open. doors unlocked, windows, drapes blowing in the breeze. And Josh, if we put up his numbers next to Jordan Love, who has had a far more tumultuous schedule, Jordan Love has been better. Now, listen, Josh has 5 rushing touchdowns, and 2 of those 5 are not from 1 yard out, so I give him, full. In my brain, he has 3.25 rushing touchdowns. But regardless, I'll give him that.
What's sad about that is I totally understand how that breaks.
Yeah, but Josh has not been better than Jordan Love. His team hasn't been better. They haven't played a harder schedule, and I understand that he is. I actually think he's second in the odds right now. I think it's Mahomes, then Allen.
Yeah, that's right. And then Drake. And then Drake. 5-1. That's true.
And so, but that is about projection of where they think Josh is going to end up. But if right now, in my opinion, if anyone were to make a top 5 MVP ballot, there is not an argument that Josh Allen should be on it.
Can I make an argument for Josh Allen? And I'm the Drake May guy.
Right now, in top 5.
Yeah.
Well, some of the game against the Panthers, I felt was instructive because he had another game like that. Was it the Jets game or the Dolphins?
No, the Jets game.
The Jets
game where they blew him out and he didn't do much.
It's we're winning by 20. Like, what do you want me to do? Throw the ball around the field?
But he's not lighting it up to get the lead.
Yeah,
but
I mean, James Cook leads the NFL in rushing. And listen, Nick, those numbers are indisputable. I agree. And I'm not doing the weekly Bruce Bow thing. I said those are the only quarterbacks I can see winning MVP. The Packers.
You can't see Jordan Love winning MVP?
I feel like I've heard you say multiple times. I feel like they've been carried more by their defense. Micah Parsons, that's going to be the complete totality of the team, how star-laden they are. I think that's going to be a thing that works against him this year.
I mean,
He's been very good.
I think that the Steeler game could be a narrative turning point for him. I also think at some point his numbers have to be the numbers. And it's not like Micah is on pace for 22 sacks.
Yeah. Well, you could bet Jordan Love at 18-1 right now if you want.
Well, yeah, listen, I think Patrick is going to end up, I think that the MVP race is going to come down to 3 guys. Patrick, Stafford, and Drake.
Stafford, really?
Stafford's numbers, KW, are 17 touchdowns and 2 picks, I think, with like a 118 rating. His numbers are bananas. It's kind of flown under the radar.
Yeah, numbers are. Drake played 1 more game.
Yeah, that's right. And so I just think, and again, I agree with you that Josh's second best player in the league. I just don't think he's had that caliber of season so far.
Look, Nick stole a lot of my thunder, which I knew when I saw what we were doing, where you were going. I agree with almost everything you said because I think Love should definitely be up there. And as Nick said, right now, early in the season, you're thinking of individual games. Has he had that moment? But there's going to come a point where you got to really look at the numbers.
Yep.
And it won't be about remembering this individual game or that one. And his numbers, and if they're the 1 seed, which obviously is what they are right now, then he's going to be in serious consideration. But I don't. So I would move Josh down too. I don't think Josh right now is an MVP candidate. He probably will be at the end of the year. I think Hurts, though, has another level to go to.
Oh, yeah.
That's where I this. I'm not putting him in the MVP race right now, but I don't think he's at his ceiling.
I see what
the
you're saying.
fact that he raises every time he's in at least the Super Bowl, when he's in those games.
Or when he's questioned.
We saw a few years ago, A.J. Brown was getting his target. A.J. Brown had great numbers a couple years ago with Jalen. So I do think there's a place where AJ's happy, he's cooking, Devontae's happy, and they're still winning. So I think he can go to a different level.
I mean, the guy's got 1 interception this year.
Yeah, 15 touchdowns, 1 interception.
So I don't know how much better than that he can play.
Well, they're probably the 200 passing yards, but here is
but
the
I don't think they're
Galaxy.
gonna let him do it.
Right, here's the Galaxy brain question that we don't have time for. Just marinate on it. Would Jalen Hurts' MVP case be strengthened if they trade A.J. Brown?
Of course.
You're saying, but he would.
Less.
Oh, you mean he would play?
Well, I'm saying he would. You're saying, of course, but that then assumes he would not have any drop off in production without A.J. Brown. I
actually think if they keep winning and he keeps, like you said, pedestrian yards per game, but they keep winning, he's not turning over, throwing some touchdowns.
Is not
I think he may work his way into the MVP.
Well, that's how it happened a few years ago. When they had a really good record. He didn't have crazy yards that year either, but he didn't turn the ball over. He had really good.
That's the 3rd episode of Quarterback Quarterly.
You don't want your quarterback to do a T5.
No.
Don't want to be a.
Coming
like
up,
that.
a fresh episode of Frenemies.
Wild, you're on the clock.
For what?
A T phrase.
You know what? I'm
T5,
just going to go with the
T6,
doorstep of
T7.
destiny.
The Dodgers and the Blue Jays, Game 5 from L.A. Here he comes, off and going Game 5 with a fastball that's hit in the air to deep left field. Call to the track. It's on the first pitch of Game 5. Vlad Jr. hooks a ball down the left field line. They've gone back-to-back to start Game 5.
Thanks for hanging out with us on Frenemies. Last night, the Blue Jays took the lead in the series. Magic Johnson told me it's tied 2-2. Whoever wins Game 5, it's a big game. Schneider Guerrero back-to-back homers to lead it off. 12 strikeouts, 7 innings for the Blue Jays. Nick, what was your biggest takeaway from Game 5?
Well, from my biggest takeaway from Game 5 is the same as my biggest takeaway for the series. I think the Blue Jays are better than the Dodgers. And I think that what we have seen this postseason is that the Dodgers were getting an in my opinion, sustainable level of starting pitching leading up to the World Series. That we had numbers showing that their 4 starters were matching what the Schilling, Randy Johnson, a Diamondback staff 24 years ago
Right, from
did.
the dead ball era of pitching. Right,
And so that wasn't going to keep up. So in order for the Dodgers to compensate, they need their superstars to perform. And it's weird to say about Shohei because in the World Series, he had one of the greatest baseball games ever played. But aside from that, he has not been good. And Mookie is in a slump at the worst possible time. And the Blue Jays feel, and I know it's probably recency bias, slump-proof because it just feels like they have so many guys that can just get on base. They can just get a hit, and then their superstar, Vladdy, is played like a superstar the entire postseason.
Yeah, but it looked like they slumped when they played Yamamoto, who goes tonight, right? Like the old adage of momentum in baseball is your next day's starting pitcher. So I'm not with you that the Blue Jays are better than the Dodgers, but they're clearly playing better, and that's the cruelty of baseball. You take 162 games of a huge sample size, and then you boil it down to the small sample size.
But in 162 games, the Blue Jays had a better record.
I know. But the Dodgers had a ton of starting pitching injuries early in the year. Like, we saw what they did last year. I can just look at the roster. It's just one of those things, like, they have more talent. They do. Call it my eye test transferring over to baseball.
They do have more talent.
Yeah,
however,
that makes them better.
However, if over the course of a 162-game season they had, let's call it the same record, because there's one game difference.
Right.
And then in 5 World Series games, the Blue Jays have thoroughly outplayed them in 3.
Yeah.
The Dodgers have thoroughly outplayed them in 1.
And then
one game is, one of the longest games in baseball, in postseason baseball history. Call it the definition of a coin flip. I feel like the Blue Jays could win tomorrow night to win the World Series, and you would be like, yeah, the Dodgers were better.
Now, you're going to hate this take.
Yeah.
But if the Blue Jays won tomorrow night, and then if instead of 2 days later they had a parade, they started the World Series over 0-0, I would pick the Dodgers.
Yeah, of course you would.
That's just how baseball works, man.
Of course
And to your point on the Dodgers slumping at the wrong time, that's what's happening. We can show the numbers. All of their best hitters are underperforming their playoff expected outcomes, except for Shohei Ohtani, which, as you mentioned, is carried by that one incredible superstar game. So, I would assume those guys will regress to their mean. They're just running out of time to do it.
Okay. I mean, credit to the Blue Jays, I think. They've been awesome all year. That rookie starting pitcher last night was great.
Incredible.
And if the Dodgers are lucky this thing's not over.
That's true.
They won the 18-inning game. And again, by the way, I think it's going 7 because I think Yamamoto is going to be great tomorrow. I just think the Blue Jays are better.
All right, let's talk Bills-Chiefs. It's been a while. To Buffalo. This one actually might break the group chat apart for a minute. Knicks Chiefs, my Super Bowl pick Bills. Some people would call this a generational rivalry. By some people, I think it's most people who watch football. Maybe your guy Patrick Mahomes will change Nick's mind on the subject. Take a listen.
They do a good job of being game plan specific every single year, and so I think there's just a lot of great football players that we're going up against, and we know it's to take our best football. I think that's the biggest thing I've learned from this rivalry is that it's going to be one play here or there that's going to change the outcome, and you have to go out there and make it.
All right, so it's a rivalry. Mahomes just said it.
Okay, is that the question?
No, it's not the question. I just wanted to point out you said it was a rivalry.
He's a gracious guy. He's a gracious guy.
All right, fine. The actual question. What would a win, another win, over Mahomes for Allen mean?
Nothing.
Great.
Go ahead.
Listen, I've argued sports with you for the better part of 20 years.
Yeah.
You have very impressively and creatively created a universe where Josh Allen can beat Patrick Mahomes and he has nothing to gain, and Patrick Mahomes can lose to Josh Allen and he loses nothing.
I didn't create that universe. They did. They created the universe by having, and I thought Patrick's answer there was very interesting, where he said they do a good job being game plan specific, which again, I'm not speaking for Patrick,
Here we go.
but I believe one of the reasons historically the Chiefs have beaten the Bills in the playoffs despite losing to them in the regular season is I don't think the Chiefs are game plan specific for the regular season game. I don't think the Chiefs put everything into beating the Bills in the regular season. I think they are pretty vanilla and they of course try to win, but they know the Bills are going to fire all their bullets.
But you don't think that for this game.
Well, that's an interesting element.
You definitely don't think that for this game.
I'm not certain about this game because this game, both teams don't have as much of a margin of error as they've had in the past, or you could argue no margin of error. But historically, I think that's been an edge, where the Chiefs get a real true scout on what Buffalo's going to want to do during the regular season for the playoff game, and the Bills don't. But you're saying I've created this universe. What do you think it would mean? What would it mean? If Allen beats
Here's what I
Mahomes.
think. I think we have created a situation where we've devalued all of the regular season. If the only thing that we can say, he's beaten Patrick in the regular season. He has the regular season numbers. We agree he's the second best player in football. The only thing he doesn't have is an AFC championship and a Super Bowl, and he hasn't beaten Mahomes in the playoffs. Well, this isn't a playoff game.
Yes.
So based on how we just talk about sports, if that's the answer to the question, then why are we playing the games? To me, what this is about is less about the Allen Mahomes narrative and legacy and all that stuff. It is the loser of this game is going to play a road playoff game. It's a team thing. So Josh Allen has already proven enough to me that he is the second best player, that he is a Hall of Famer. And he has proven enough to me that he is absolutely capable of beating Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. He just hasn't done it yet.
Well, so, okay.
I know it drives you crazy.
No, it doesn't drive me crazy. It's just it is to me no different than saying Drake May has proven he can beat Patrick Mahomes in a playoff game. In fact, Drake May has, you could argue.
But Drake May hasn't beaten Patrick Mahomes
in
the regular season.
No, but he also hasn't lost to him every single time they played in the playoffs. He's not 0 for 4. He hasn't had the ball in his hands each of the last few years with a chance to go do it and not come through. But I agree with you holistically that a lot of sports commentary devalues the regular season and, at the service of the postseason. A ton of NBA commentary is that, maybe too much football commentary. This is the one matchup where it's totally legitimate, where it is not about what these two teams do against each other in the regular season, because we have seen repeatedly one team win in the regular season and then the other team in either building win in the postseason.
But I think that narrative stuff works in the NBA because one player does dominate, so you're 1 of 5 on the court. Here's my question, and you might hate this question, but we got 90 seconds left, whatever. You like to tweak Bills fans that the pick that the Chiefs used to draft Mahomes was a traded pick with Buffalo.
Yeah.
You agree that Allen is the second best player to Mahomes.
Yes.
Football is the ultimate team game. What if the Bills would have taken Mahomes?
Then the Bills would have a dynasty.
You really think that?
Of course.
No, come
they
on.
Have the best.
No, you don't.
Danny,
Nick,
if the
second part of the question is if the next year the Chiefs would have traded up for Allen,
then they would have been really good.
And Josh Allen would have been with Andy Reid.
But you know what we have
Hill.
seen? What we've never gotten to see is, man, could Josh Allen overcome a bad defense? We might see it this year because they might not be good. That scenario you're painting is that Patrick Mahomes walks into the first 4 years of his career. He has a top 4 defense in football. That's what Josh Allen had. So, yes, if Patrick would have been drafted by Buffalo and instantly had a great defense and Stephon Diggs, they would have been the dynasty. Of course they would.
With Sean McDermott and no Tyreek Hill and no Travis Kelce?
No, they would not have had the weapons, but they also wouldn't have had to score 35 a game. The two highest scoring, there's 2 Super Bowl winners that allowed the most points in the playoff run in NFL history.
Yeah.
Are the 2019 Chiefs and the 2022 Chiefs. No quarterback has ever won a Super Bowl while allowing more than 25 points per game in a playoff run, except for Mahomes, who's done it twice. You're asking me if Mahomes would have gotten a great defense instead of the worst defense in football. Of course, Andy is great. Travis is one of the greatest players ever. Tyreek Hill, they've won 2 Super Bowls and been to 3 straight without him. He's a great player, but I think Patrick's proven he can do it without him.
Of course he has.
The idea that it's just dumb luck, that, man, if Josh had just gotten a better circumstance, when he's been at home, he's been favored, he's had the better defense in 3 of the 4 matchups, I think it's crazy. The difference is one team has the greatest player in the history of the sport and the other team doesn't.
It's just fun that when the Chiefs lose to the Bills, it's because they're really not trying that hard.
No, it's not that they're not trying that hard.
They're not game planning that
It's
hard.
that it doesn't mean as much to them.
Okay.
Doesn't mean as much to them. Well, this year it means a lot, and I think they're going to beat them.
It does mean a lot because 5-3 Chiefs. Yeah, and then
whoever loses this game likely is in 7th place in the conference.
The Chiefs are in 7th place right now.
Yep.
Yeah, not a good spot. Tie goes to the Frenemies. So we've talked a lot about the Cowboys' defense, but what about their offense? We talk about that too. But Dak's completing 70% of his passes, 17 touchdowns, 5 picks. The record, though, not great. Well, head coach Brian Schottenheimer had a lot to say about, wins versus stats. Take a listen.
None of us have done good enough. Coaches, players, head coach, none of us have done good enough. That's real. Our scorecard is what it is, and that's not just, defensively, that's offensively. We're a football team that's 3-4-1. You can take the stats on offense and shove them up your as far as I'm concerned. Is what it is. We want to win, and people talk about, hey, MVP and this and that. Dak Prescott doesn't want to win MVP. He wants to win a Super Bowl, and that's what we want to win.
Coach, I don't want to tell you your take, but I know you love that.
Oh, I do love that.
Yeah, I knew you would.
You like the cursing?
Yeah, I don't mind the cursing at all. Now Brian was my offensive coordinator in New York, and I think back then he would have really enjoyed the offensive stats and the idea that the quarterback could be the MVP. But once you move to that other chair and you're responsible for the whole team, then it becomes a little bit insulting to him in the sense that he is the offensive coordinator, but he is, the ultimate goal is to win, and he's the coach of the whole team. So I get why he would react the way he did, and that wasn't that strong of a reaction, but that's the exact right message, is all of this is nice, but we want to win games.
Yeah, and the question is there anything wrong with the offense? I think we can all agree, no, there's nothing wrong with this offense. This offense, when it's run well and they're having a good game, is some of the best in football right now. It's defense, and you're right. As a head coach, he is in charge of that now. He's no longer just responsible for the offense. In fact, in the last 2 weeks, he's been more involved in the defense, I was told, where he's going into the meetings more, taking more responsibility for it, knowing that at the end of the day, it falls on him. You can say what you want about Matt Eberflus. You can say what you want about the personnel. The head coach has got to make these changes. And with the trade deadline coming up and Jerry Jones telling the world, one day they're in, one day they're not, what are they actually doing? And I can tell you, I don't really expect much. I don't think they actually believe one player is going to make that much of a difference. And people around the league will tell you, unless Micah Parsons is available,
right?
It's the common low-hanging fruit joke, but there's truth behind it because that's what they need. That's the exact player the Dallas Cowboys could use.
Yeah, and I agree they are definitely not one player away. And I think what he's saying is like what the head coach should say, but their offense is awesome and their defense is awful. And so much so that it is historic at this point. Like, they are scoring more than 30 points per game, and they have, 3 wins? So this is the list of teams. The 1965 San Francisco 49ers, coach, remember that team well? No? Through 8 games, NFL history, and the 2025 Cowboys. This isn't even the Bengals of last year. Like, you are supposed to have more wins if you are scoring this many points.
Well, what Brian could do is you could try to slow the game down, and that could help your defense, but the problem is it could also affect the rhythm of your offense. So it's a delicate balance of what do you mean?
Well, is that a real thing? Like they're scoring too fast?
Well, it's not about scoring too fast, but there's a difference between how quickly you snap the ball at the end of each play clock. So
sure.
You can go all the way down each series, and that shortens the game. Or you could just, as the play is called and you come to the line of scrimmage and things look right, you go with the snap at that point. So you do have to be a little bit more deliberate. And then there are some other decisions in terms of how much you pass versus how much you run and trying to keep the clock moving.
Here's what I wonder about Dallas right now. You have to have really honest conversations with yourself about the direction of this team. Like, do you really think the Dallas Cowboys can make a run in the postseason? Do they actually try to make a move here because they think maybe a player, let's just say they go crazy and get two, can be that much of a difference? Or are they better off actually being sellers right now and start thinking about next year, despite the fact that this offense does have so much talent, obviously with George Pickens being a bit of a surprise trade for them. You know, I just think this is the time of year where teams want to lie to themselves a little bit about what they are, which is why there's so many rumors going on right now before the trade deadline, because I think sometimes we see it clearer than teams do.
That makes sense.
They become hostages of their own build. And I don't think a lot of people want to have that conversation. Look, maybe we're just not going to be that good this year because of the defense. That's hard. Jerry's not going to accept that.
Well, he might if his priorities aren't exactly totally locked in. Let's talk about Jerry Jones, owner, general manager, grand poobah of everything. The Cowboys defense ranked 31st in points per game, yards per game. Jerry, that's what he's locked in on, right? No. Well, he told the Wall Street Journal there was an article about his investment in natural gas. Jerry saying, quote, "There's $100 billion present value with gas out there. That's why I'm talking to you on the telephone rather than trying to fix our defense with the Dallas Cowboys." That man is a quote machine. Your reaction to Jerry's priorities?
I love that he knows the problems. He's not afraid. He doesn't run from it. I talked to him last week at the owners' meetings. We talked a little bit about it last week. And one of the things I didn't tell you last week.
Holding out on it.
Yeah, I did. I held out. We always theorize on the shows, and I write about it too, that Jerry just likes to stir it up. We always just think this is what we think that's what he wants to do. He told me directly. He 100% does this on purpose. Like, he is fully admitting he likes to keep it entertaining and exciting because he believes that's part of the value of the Dallas Cowboys.
It was in the trailer for the Netflix doc. He said, it's a soap opera 365 days a year. Like, I was like, oh, you just gave away the game.
So when he says that, right, like, it doesn't really surprise me because Jerry Jones is the Dallas Cowboys, right? He's the decision maker. He's the face of this franchise. He's the reason why they're a $1 billion business globally. So, yeah, he's saying that, but at the end of the day, his wallet just continues to grow and grow, whether he's on the phone talking about gas or fixing that defense.
What's your reaction to it?
It just seems like such a weird flex. Like, so I can't fix the problem, so I'm going to tell you how much more money I'm making. And I don't know why he needs to go there. And if he could have fixed the defense, he would fix the defense. He doesn't know what to do in terms of fixing the defense. In terms of it being a soap opera, it's got to be a soap opera because the substance hasn't been there.
Right.
So if you can't give the fans substance, and you can't, what's it been, 28, 29 years since they've been to the NFC Championship. So if you can't provide that to all the people that care so passionately about your team, then provide this alternative. And when that's not good enough, tell them how rich you are.
Well, he is rich, and the truth is, like, and I would love more reporting done on this, like Will McClay, right? That's the actual guy in Dallas. Like, I've never believed for a second that Jerry Jones is like scouting Senior Bowl tape.
I think
like that's not what he does.
I agree, but everything is taken to him. Like
that's fine.
He's making final call. Like even going back to the Micah Parsons trade, nobody in that front office was dealing with any of that situation except Jerry Jones.
No, but the Cowboys are like they've been a really good drafting team.
Yes.
Right? Like they've drafted as many Pro Bowlers since 2014. I think it's them and the Ravens that have drafted. Like I don't think Jerry Jones has like this like unbelievable scout's eye.
Yeah.
Right, it's not him.
Well,
he's just the boss who signs the checks and gives himself the credit because he gives himself the GM title.
Well, I think he's more involved in that. I think he's more involved than just signing the checks. And to Diana's point, they probably get the board set, and then he comes in and has to approve it or disapprove it. And if there's any significant questions, he's the final judge.
I just wonder what Will McClay's life is like, because there's no way they're always in line, right? Like, how much do you think he's invested in a player during the draft process, or a free agent and Jerry comes in and either says yes or no? That's got to be so frustrating.
So that's the GM, right? Whatever his title is, director of pro personnel or whatever it is. But it's actually a pretty sweet gig. Get paid a ton of money. You don't get the credit publicly, but you also get none of the blame because Jerry wants it. Jerry generates all of those headlines.
Bad,
So take his natural gas profits and move on. We got a game tonight. Lamar Jackson is back. What are we expecting in the return? Big game for the Ravens. Can't lose anymore. We'll get into it coming up. All right, tonight, a couple hours away from kickoff, Lamar goes to Hard Rock, return from the hamstring injury that sidelined him back in Week 4. Ravens 7.5-point favorites tonight against the Dolphins. Coach, Diana, we're talking expectations for Lamar tonight. You wore your purple, so you go first.
I did. I'm all in on Baltimore's resurgence, we'll call it, right? I mean, just go from the way they started the season. Obviously, they've been dealing with so many different injuries and situations and things going on there. But it's as simple as when Lamar's healthy and can run this offense, everything else seems to work and come together. He is that good. And his addition just gives them this energy, too. I mean, you even see in the field. I know this was last week and he didn't play on Sunday. But I was told in Baltimore, he's 100% ready to go in terms of the health. And I know with hamstrings it can be weird, but the fact that he's 100% is just nothing but good for this Ravens team.
He needs to have a big game. He should have a big game. And they have an opportunity now to string 2 wins together. Steelers have a tough game coming up this weekend. They could be 1 game behind the Steelers after the end of the weekend. So he needs to be the linchpin to drive him forward and forget about this early part of the season.
I thought their defense looks pretty good against the Bears, and it's the healthiest it's been all year. So I think they're probably coming together at the right time. I expect them to roll against Miami, but they eliminated their margin for error, and weird things happen. This is a Thursday night game on the road, so the ball bounces your way, you get a bad penalty, who knows? But they'll probably roll. Thanks for hanging out. Diana, Coach, I'm Danny. See you tomorrow.